The podcast on Haunted Hill will contain spoilers and swearing.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Please help us, Michael. Be one of us.
I didn't tell you my name.
Hang up.
I didn't tell them my name.
They're all a part of it. They're all parts of it.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Hello and welcome to the podcast on Haunted Hill, episode 163.
Whoop, whoop.
Dan tried to move his fingers quickly. He wasn't going to throw up 100 fingers in seconds, but I mean as in like 1, 6, 3.
Wow. Imagine if I did actually 163
100, what's Dan doing? He's doing some crazy hand thing to me. Whoa! Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, non-gendered people, aliens, ghouls, spacemen, space cadets, anything you like.
Tony Todd's.
Anything. Dead people, death itself. Welcome. If it's your first time, welcome again. Welcome back.
If it's not your first time,
before, welcome
friend. This is becoming a new catchphrase for 2024 for us.
It kind of is, isn't it?
For you, anyway, for fuck's sake. I am Dan, you are Gav. We are a podcast on Haunted Hill.
I hope everyone's happy in the world, and everything's dandy for you, and merry and gay.
Yes.
What are we doing today?
Merry and bright.
Well, I know what we're doing today, and it's going to be a real fun one. What we're doing, Dan, explain to everyone else.
Well, welcome. Yes, we are, this year, we're either doing director's specials. It's our 10th year of casting, as the cool kids say. So if we're not doing a director's special or something else, we are trying to mop up some of the franchises that are outstanding. Last year, we started a franchise, the first 2 entries, Final Destination 1 and 2. And this episode, we will be looking at 3, 4, and 5. So 3 movies for you in this one.
Yep.
Final Destination 3 from 2006, number 4, or as it was called, The Final Destination, from 2009. They tried to trick us like they've done so many franchises in the past.
Yeah.
The Final Nightmare.
Yeah, Friday 13th ones, yeah.
The Final Chapter.
Yep.
And then Final Destination 5 from 2011.
Is it saying final? You're like, I'm gonna have to go and watch it because they're telling me it's the last one, and if I miss this, it's a whole thing of my life that I've missed.
You did this exact skit when we did Friday the 13th 4, the Final Chapter, followed by 5, A New Beginning. You said there was an old lady who was like, Harold, we've got to go and see number 4. It's the last one. It's saying it's the final chapter. And then the following year, she's like, they bloody got us, Harold. It says 5's out in the cinema and it's the new beginning. Bastards.
I think you should go through all the sort of humorous things I've said over the years, put together, take it back to me. I'll be like, this guy's amazing. I find him so funny.
It was you all along.
Oh my gosh.
Because we're doing 3 films, it does mean that we are not, I'm afraid, sad to say,
no,
we're not having Bill Murray here.
Oh no, yes, that's
There's
right.
no World of the Strange, but that is also partly because he did call me earlier and say he's been really freaked out by all this talk of flights and, death stalking him, and he just doesn't feel like he wants to get on an aeroplane and come over and do the intro for World of the Strange. And I said, look, we'll let you off this episode. You can have the time off. And we'll see you on the next episode. So he's not coming over because he's a bit worried about death and he's had a vision and all that kind of stuff. So that's fine, Bill. Not a problem. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll let him off. How are you, Gavin?
I'm very well, actually. Very, very, very well. Found out in February here. No, April here. Near me, they've got a horror convention on. And I was like, what the fuck? Just literally found this out last night. I can't remember what it's called yet. I'll find out later on to tell people if anyone fancies it.
A certain Bobby England might be there, apparently.
Robert England is going to be there, presumably. But some of these events sometimes don't go ahead. It does happen quite often with horror ones, I've noticed. Anyway, we're hopefully going to have a stall there. Deadbolt Films. But yeah, that's quite cool. But I'm fine. I've got a flat, which is quite nice because I didn't know where I was going to be living, but I figured out where I'm going to be living. That's good. So I will have a new podcasting premises coming up.
Oh,
So
sexy.
that does include everybody because the audio,
You're all
the
you're all
ambience might be
invited.
different. It won't be exactly the same. Well, I don't know. I have no idea.
And did you manage to get the place with the glass ceiling and the stripper's pole in the corner and all that kind of stuff?
Couldn't get it. Tried for the dungeon 2, couldn't get that one. So just got a regular.
Oh man,
flat.
that dungeon was really good as well. I love those stains on the wall that we just didn't know what they were.
It's good, nice. I'm moving to town. I'm actually moving to the town after Alec Baldwin was in that movie Rust, and unfortunately the director of photography was shot and died. Unfortunately, he was in a town really like just 2 weeks later, walking around filming himself. I think people will remember it because they were like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck's he doing?" He's walking around town going, "I love these sort of towns. I don't know who would live in these sorts of towns. Well, it's gonna be me. That's gonna be because that's where I'm moving to." It's actually quite close to a film studio, which made Jeepers Creepers 3, which apparently is really bad.
It's not great.
Yeah, that's like the studio, very close to me, but not that means anything. 'Cause, it's just a studio.
Well, talking of Alec Baldwin, good segue there. Slight tangent, but as anyone who knows us knows, we love our hip hop. And
Is that Alec Baldwin's hip hop album?
yeah, it's finally I've finished listening to the new Eminem album. I say new, it's been out about a month now, but I don't have a lot of spare time these days. So I finished listening to it, and even Alec Baldwin gets dissed in one of the tracks. He talks about pulling out a gun and shooting at you like Alec Baldwin, and I just thought, whoa.
I was thinking, like, in hip hop, we'll get back to that in a second. I'll just very quickly just note on this. When they say pop a cap in your ass, any other word apart from cap's going to be odd with that sentence, isn't it?
Pop a sausage in your ass.
Exactly. Pop a Mega Drive in your ass. It's
Pop
just
a
weird,
finger.
but it's
I mean,
odd.
just pop a finger in your ass.
It's just
'Cause
anything.
that's what the doctor does.
Yeah.
Talking of hip hop, the other thing I just wanted to mention
Do you
is,
reckon if you had Dr. J and say, "I'm going to pop a finger in your ass"?
hell yeah.
Snoop Dogg's
How's
just
my
there.
prostate? Is my prostate okay? Hell yeah. Thanks, doctor. Can I get a hell yeah? The other thing related to hip hop, very briefly, because occasionally we do talk this.
So hang on, the Alec Baldwin thing. What happened? He just got dissed.
Eminem
didn't
dissed him. He disses everyone.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, everyone. Anyway, I also listened to another new album this week. LL Cool J's got a new hip hop album out.
Oh, really?
Produced by Q-Tip, and it is fucking
good?
brilliant, really good, because all the tracks sound like a Tribe Called Quest songs from the mid-90s, and because it's Q-Tip producing every single one of them,
How's his voice?
it sounds great.
Well, it must be aged though. Is it deeper? Is it?
Well, LL
Yeah, of course.
sounds the same, to be honest. He's got a song on there, funny enough, the reason I segue, he's got a song on there with Eminem called Murdergram. And they rap really fast, taking it in turns.
Yeah, LL Cool J's always been really good at rapping. Like,
Well, him and Eminem really go for it.
I think it's overshadowed his rapping with his acting.
But the video for Murdergram made me realise what success Eminem has had as a white guy in the hip hop game, because he's in a video with LL Cool J, and LL stood on an old VW Golf like he would have done back in the day, and he's wearing the leathers and he's rapping about, I'm the guy wearing leathers back in the day with a panther on a chain and all the kind of stuff that he used to do, and he's rapping like he used to, but 100 miles an hour, and you just got Eminem with him acting like the coolest guy ever. Like, he's not even phased that one of the lords of rap, literally the gods of rap, you're on his song. Because normally when Eminem collabs with somebody on a song, it's always they're a bit overshadowed by Eminem, do you know what I mean? But this time Eminem's the guest, like, because LL Cool J is LL Cool J, do you know what I'm saying? But you should check it out. It's called Murdergram. It's a great video and a really good song, really funky, weird song.
I've got Cruise to Sarah's tomorrow, so I will listen to it amongst other podcasts.
Yeah, the new album is good. It's called Force.
Oh, cool, man.
LL Cool J's new album, Force. It's on Spotify right now.
Ladies love Cool James.
They do. The ladies love him. Shall we talk about what we've been watching and some horror news?
It'd be bad if Jimmy Savile was LL Cool J.
Fucking hell.
Be bad, wouldn't it?
Mama said knock you out.
Can't live without my radio. I can't do a Jimmy Savile voice.
Fucking hell, who's that?
I don't know.
Mama said, knock you out.
I'm a bit unprepared when Jimmy Savile comes out of your mouth and start. Oh God, that's not good.
Fucking hell.
You're you're unprepared for it. You don't know what's going to happen, and it never mean to. It's worse when you go or I can't do it. What's going on? I've lost my Jimmy.
Oh,
I'm glad.
Well, there we go. We are kooky, and that reminds
Totally thrown you off course.
that reminds me to thank Kevin, our patron, who said thank you for the episode and thank you for your kookiness.
Yeah.
Because we are kooky and we're crazy, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about Jimmy Savile either. Right.
Right. So listen up. Before we get into what we've been watching, I'm angry. I'm cross. There's been some news that's come out.
You told me earlier, and I was like, oh, talk about this in the intro. Go on.
They're
Then.
remaking one of our favourite films of all time.
Yeah.
Our favourite film, probably our joint favourite sort of horror comedy of all time, Gav. Remind our listeners what it is.
The Burbs.
The Burbs with Tom Hanks. It's fantastic.
It
It's
is.
got everything you want in it from a family horror comedy. And it is horror. Say what you will. It is. Well, they're remaking it. Peacock. You've heard of Peacock, the streaming series in America and the sort of production company of remaking The Burbs.
Well, before we get into it, like The Crow recently.
Oh, God.
the-
It's not done well, is it?
No, done very, very, very badly. It's lost a lot of money and it's come out streaming very quickly because they're going to try and recoup what they can. But the only reason that property, it's been taking a long time going through various producers, whatever, was going to be done was because the first one's beloved. So they've just looked at numbers, not actual what people say, and gone, oh great, the name The Crow is going to make us money. So let's take that, let's do this. And it's just like, no, it doesn't need to be made again or another version or whatever it is. And it's the same with The Burbs. But The Burbs wasn't what The Burbs was. It's a cult hit now, but what was it like when it came out?
It didn't. It did okay.
I don't imagine it was.
It was
Because Tom Hanks was doing a lot more sort of going into the family set, and that is
He was
a
comedy at the
darky
time.
type. It's got
That was his first slightly more adult because he'd done Splash and Big.
Yeah.
And then he did The Burbs. He made The Burbs in '88. It was released in '89, and it did okay. It made its money because people would go mainly to see Carrie Fisher was in it, and it was an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
You know, you had your Corey Feldman
But
fans as well.
it's quite off to the side. It's quite out there, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
people
isn't
knew the
mainstream.
director.
So why are they bothering? It's not really like it's a property where you can see why they. And what I'm saying is, you can see why The Crow was made.
Yeah,
The numbers tell
maybe
it
when
to,
I
even though they shouldn't have done it. Yeah.
maybe when I read to you the little description of what they're going to do with it, you might understand what they're going to try and do with it. I think they're going to try and Jordan Peele it a bit. I think they're going to make it like a racial tension or something. So the only actor that's been cast so far is Keke Palmer, who played the sister in Nope.
You ever seen Neighbours?
Yes.
Not
Not the Australian soap opera. Oh.
The movie, Short's Neighbours with Thingamajig, who's died now, Jim Belushi, and Dan Aykroyd. They play neighbours, rival neighbours.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Keke Palmer is in it, who played the sister in Nope, who was one of my favourite characters in Nope. So that's great. But this is what they're saying about it. And do bear in mind, all that's happened is they greenlit this and they've got an actress attacked. Bloody hell. Attached. She hasn't been attacked. Bloody hell. Fucking hell. So it says here, it's going to be set in the present day, and it's going to follow a young couple returning to the husband's childhood home, but their world is upended when new neighbours move in next door, bringing old secrets out of the cul-de-sac to light, and new deadly threats will shatter their quiet little neighbourhood. That doesn't sound anything like The Burbs.
No. That sounds like your general sort of thriller movie, which I quite like. That it's your Fright Night. There's lots of films like it. Your Rear Window type sort of scenario. Why do they say it's going to be filmed in present. Well, The Burbs, when that came out, was filmed then as well in the present. What, are they saying that it's not going to be a 1987 or 86 film?
I have no idea.
Well,
It
they
sounds
need to
like
say that.
it doesn't even need to be a Burbs film remake. They could just say,
Yeah, they're using a name.
I've
That's
seen
all.
versions of The Burbs. I've seen that movie with what's his name, Shia LaBeouf.
I was going to say, yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but I quite
Eagle
like
Eye-
that.
Eagle
Actually.
Eye or something. I don't know.
No, it's not
Disturbia.
Disturbia.
That was good, and that's sort of like the Rear
yeah,
Window
yeah.
or like The Burbs. And you could say The Burbs was almost a bit of a loose remake of Rear Window, maybe. But
They're just using a name, aren't they?
yeah, but it's a weird name to use.
But there's no point because it wasn't like The Crow, which was a massive thing in the zeitgeist, especially with
Well,
goths
the
and
thing about
stuff.
The Crow is it wasn't just the movie; it was a comic book as well, and
Yeah,
then there's
yeah,
like
it
3
had
sequels and a TV
Yeah,
series.
it had a thing going on. The Burbs doesn't.
No,
It's just going to
apart
piss
from us.
people like me and you off. Yeah. Again, it's like, what are you doing? But then again, it's Peacock, so it's just a streaming service, so it just goes back out on their channel. So I don't have Peacock, so I won't be watching it. So
We'll
that's
watch
the end of that.
We'll watch this space and see what happens with that.
I was gutted the other day. Went to watch The Monsters. I was like, I'm going to fucking watch Rob Zombie's
'cause
Monsters.
it's on Tubi.
I was like, I'm fucking going to watch it. I'm going to fucking do it. And in a way, kind of was not looking forward to it, but kind of for the first time ever, very open to it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I want to watch like a Rob Zombie PG thing. Let's do it. And it's not on there anymore. It's gone.
Who plays Lily Munster in that one, Gav?
I'm not sure. Who is it?
I don't know.
It's his wife, yes.
Oh, fucking hell!
Of course
What a
it is. Yeah,
surprise.
of course it is. I don't know. I always try and cast the same people in my films. So I don't know.
Well, talking of shit films,
Yeah.
it's that time of the year. Every 18 months or so, this film comes into my radar and I watch it because I want to love it.
Yeah.
Ghosts of Mars. Watched it again the other day.
Yeah, I watched it again a couple of years ago and went, this is shit.
And I know in about 2 years' time, it'll be on the Horror Channel. And I'll watch it again. And I think,
Get like 40 minutes in, I'm like, fuck this film.
because it's got that cast. It's
Yes.
got Pam Grier,
But it's a weird
Ice Cube,
cast.
Natasha Henstridge,
Jason Statham. It's like, what?
Jason's got that terrible hair
Ja-
before he started shaving his head,
I
so
know,
he's got
Jason
that really
Statham
bad.
and Pam Grier already, like, directed by John Carpenter. What is this, an AI movie that someone's made on acid?
Well, then
What
you've
is
got,
this?
who's hot right now? The girl from Species, Natasha Henstridge. Get her in it.
Yeah.
Who else?
It's-
Ice Cube? Get him in it.
It feels like a producer's movie, doesn't it? Not a John Carpenter movie almost, but I don't know. I think he enjoyed it. It's a bit weird.
Look, I want to like it.
Yeah, but
But-
I watched recently his Village of the Damned. Sarah's round. It was really late of night, and I was like, "Tell you what, been wanting to watch this for ages. Let's put this on, one of Christopher Reeve and that."
Yeah,
put
I
it on.
quite like it,
Yeah,
man.
but we started watching. We got about halfway through, and I was like, "Fuck it,
I
this."
quite like it.
We went to bed. Go
Well,
on.
we'll get around to it at some point. The thing, what I'm going to say about Ghosts of Mars is what I have realised is I've come to the realisation it is actually a loose remake, talking of loose remakes, a loose remake of an earlier Carpenter film, Assault on Precinct 13. It kind of feels like that, really, except it's like weird zombie pierced ghost Martians attacking them because they're, in a little prison rather than... But it feels like a loose remake of that in some ways. And so I've seen that film done better by him.
Makes me think of putting these on.
Gab's currently showing me his night vision goggles. That's not a euphemism.
And it isn't. And
Fucking
I'm
hell.
definitely haven't bought them to silence the lamb. Someone. That's not what's going on.
Hello, Gladys.
We can use them for a movie, but they're
I
proper.
can smell your cunt.
No, they're proper night vision.
Sorry, I never say that word, but...
Well, no, the word's fine, but in a context like that, it's just not appropriate. Even
but
I'd
it's not
say
me,
that.
it's Sir Anthony Hopkins that said that.
It's not. You said it. So Anthony Hopkins once said it. Then you've gone and said it again.
Do you think when the Queen knighted him when she was alive, and she was like, "There you go, there you are, you're a sir now," and then she thought in her head, "I heard you say
Don't.
a terrible thing once,"
Stop
and he went,
it. No.
"Sorry about that, Your Majesty,"
I'm glad he didn't say it.
to her.
Stop it.
Anyway, another film I watched, which came out in 2019, which I loved when it came out, and I watched it and I, raved about it. I think you hated it, and quite a few people hated it. I rewatched it again the other night, and I love it even more now. And I'm determined for us to cover it one day, and that is The Shed from 2019. It's so good.
No, it's not.
I don't understand why no one likes it.
Because it's shit.
It's really not.
It is.
Why is it shit?
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again and go through why it's so bad.
It's not bad.
I don't want to watch it again.
It's a fantastic story.
Sarah's gutted she
two
bought
bullied
it on
boys,
Amazon, and it's on her Amazon list because she can't get it off it.
Two bullied boys.
Yeah.
And they find something in their shed which will help them with the bullies and everyone else in their lives. And then it gets out of control, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, when you sold it to me originally, I was like, sounds fucking great.
It is brilliant.
What ratings it got on IMDb?
4.8.
Yeah.
Do you know what I give it?
It's pretty high.
8. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I know it is. I love you.
Watch
You're
The
so
Shed.
positive.
Tell me what you think.
You're so positive, you are.
I love bullies. Like,
Speaking of
getting their own
positive,
back.
I knew you would be. You watched Beetlejuice today, the new movie.
Yeah, well, I've watched a lot of new films.
I think it doesn't matter, even if it had been the worst movie ever, and Michael Keaton just sitting there jerking off in a chair, going, yeah, and you watch that for an hour and a half, all that lovely treated food you ate earlier, you were probably so like, I'm so happy, reclined in your big leather chair.
Listen, just because I have a positive outlook doesn't mean I don't say films are shit when they're shit. Like I've just said about Ghosts of Mars.
Me and you sometimes quite agree on a movie being shit, and it's always quite funny. We're both like, yeah, that's shit.
But yeah, I did watch Beetlejuice only this morning, and
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the original. It was a big staple in my family home growing up.
It's a massive loved film, isn't it? I'm not in I'm not in the camp, but it's
probably my favourite Tim Burton film, sitting exactly the same level as Batman for very different reasons. But Beetlejuice is fun. It was only his second film he ever made, which is crazy. Second feature film. Yeah. And Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder's first major film. Everything about it was fantastic, and everything about it was, importantly, was Tim Burton. It was weird. It was wonderful.
Only in the 80s.
It didn't make any sense.
Probably got that green lit.
Yeah, with crazy soundtrack, lip sync scenes, and all stop motion animation. Well, I'm happy to report that Beetlejuice is the most Tim Burton film I've seen since, I'd say, Mars Attacks, because that was the last time he was allowed to just go nuts, in my opinion, and just do a crazy film with crazy stop motion and other stuff going on in it and musical moments, and this happens in this one. In Beetlejuice, there's stop motion animation, there's lip sync scene, there's a couple of music numbers that I didn't expect. Michael Keaton is unhinged in this movie. Winona Ryder looks like she hasn't aged a day. Monica Bellucci, Jenna Ortega was great in it, and I think she's going to grow up to be a real screen queen, although she's obviously a grown woman, but I think the more she does, she's going to grow to be a real screen queen as she's older. Catherine O'Hara, what's his name? Willem Dafoe almost steals the movie. Danny DeVito, you name it, it's got everything in it, and here's the crux. It's set at Halloween.
Oh, cool.
That is what the first one didn't have. The first one was just, they were going to call it Ghost House. It's just a spooky comedy, slightly dark.
What's the film about? I can't even remember what Beetlejuice is about. I've seen it once, I think, with you, and I wasn't into it.
Well, Beetlejuice is a couple who are so happy living in this dream home, and they die in a car crash, and then they realise they're trapped in the house. They can't get out of the house. Oh, okay. Another family move in, Winona Ryder's family move in, and they want to haunt them out of the house. They can't figure out how to do it, so they accidentally call Beetlejuice, who is a bio-exorcist, so he exorcises the living, but obviously they don't realise he's a demented demon, and then all hell breaks loose, and it's funny and it's weird and
I was thinking I might give it another go, the first Beetlejuice.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw it was,
a week. Yeah. It's been taken off soon. The sequel, I can't really give too much away, because it doesn't show you a lot in the trailer.
What's the general plot of what's going on? No?
I can't really give anything away.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't want to spoil it, really, because they haven't really given anything away in the trailers, other than Winona Ryder is a grown-up, obviously. She's got a daughter who's Jenna Ortega. There's a family funeral. They all have to go back to that house from the first film. Beetlejuice comes back for various reasons. But there's a couple of really great twists in there and a few things I didn't expect. And I had a great time with it, not just because I was full of sugar. It was just a really great film. And what's refreshing is it's a legacy sequel, which doesn't make any sense like the first one. It doesn't have, we must make sure people understand the backstory of this character. We must make sure that people understand the reason that this bit is happening now 38 years later is because it doesn't matter. It's just Tim Burton throwing loads of crazy music and colours and stop motion and actors into a pot and going, if you like the first one, you're going to like this one. And that's it. So I think, I'm not saying you're going to like it, because you're not a huge fan of the first one.
No, it's not for
I think people who like the first one are going to feel safe, that they're in safe hands. And where I loved it was when I realised this movie's set at Halloween. Fucking great.
That's cool. Yeah, because it's one of those things, isn't it? Hollywood doesn't like to play it. Likes to play it safe.
Yes.
They don't generally like to do things you don't know because you feel comfortable going into something you know. So it's always nice when they actually have let people who are creative be creative.
That's why he quit filmmaking. He semi-retired, Tim Burton, because
of stupid producers.
Because he didn't really want to make Alice Through the Looking Glass, the sequel. He said he'd never do a sequel after Batman Returns,
Probably
but he was
pressured by the studio.
Yeah, he was forced into doing a sequel to Alice, which didn't do well. The second one didn't do well.
You won't have a career, you won't make another movie unless you do this film.
Then he tried his best with Dumbo by bringing in people that he loved, that he's worked with in the past, like Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito, etc. But sadly, the studio pushed him, and Dumbo came out not how he wanted. So he quit. He said, I'm semi-retired, nothing's really ever going to get me back in the game. And then he started to produce the Wednesday TV show, ended up getting talked into directing the first 4 episodes because he wanted to guide that show in the right direction. Because it makes sense that Tim Burton does an Addams Family type show. He seems like the kind of guy that should do an Addams Family film.
What, like Rob Zombie and the Monsters?
Oh, fucking hell. But yeah, so after he directed Jenna Ortega in the Wednesday show, he got his spark back. And the first thing he did was contact Michael Keaton and say to him, that script, let's finish it. Let's get it. Because Michael Keaton's helped with some of the writing of it. He ad-libbed a lot of it as well, Michael Keaton. They got Winona on board. Winona was always on board. Apparently, when she started making Stranger Things season 1 all those years ago, and her clause right from day one has been, should Tim Burton require me to make Beetlejuice sequel, you have to let me have time away from Stranger Things filming. And now they've let her have that because they're in the middle of filming the final season.
I did, funny enough, that might make sense. I did hear an actual review of Beetlejuice, the new one, and they said that Winona's acting was like she's acting in Stranger Things, not like the person from the first Beetlejuice film.
Yeah, because she's not a 16-year-old kid, I guess.
I don't know. But they said it in a negative way, but whatever. Anyway, glad you liked it.
Yeah, I did. Talking of Halloween films, I saw another movie, which is relatively new. It came out last year, but it's just hit Netflix in the UK, called Cobweb.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also set at Halloween, and I recommend it to you.
I'm going to watch it.
I also said to you to wait until October to watch it.
Yeah, no worries.
It's a great little movie. Again, I can't really give too much away, but it's about a boy that hears knocking in the walls, and then he hears a voice, and the voice guides him and to do things which aren't always. Some of the things he does are quite violent based on what the voice tells him. But then there's a bit of a switch halfway through and it turns into a couple of different types of horror films, but it kind of works in my opinion. And the fact that it's all set at Halloween with pumpkins and there's a real Haddonfield vibe, or even Trick or Treat, that kind of movie. It's got that vibe to it, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's definitely one for October to watch. So that's Cobweb from 2023. I've talked loads, Gav. What have you been watching, my friend?
Speaking of Halloween next month, that's quite cool actually. That is next month.
Yes,
we're just trying to work out a 31 and 31. You've got things you're doing. I don't think you're saying it just yet though.
I'm happy to say it, but
yeah, you're doing the 31 Universal films and Simpsons.
I am. Yeah, I'm going to do 31 Universal monster movies. I've picked the best 31 out of about, I don't know, but there's about 60 Universal movies. I picked the best 31, and I'll be doing the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror because I've never really seen more than 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah.
So a bit of a weird mix-up for me.
I might.
but-
I don't know. It's really hard. Whenever I put a label on it and then I start to put down the movies, it just doesn't happen. It don't work. Last year I tried to do movies I've never seen, and I got to them. I was like, don't fancy watching it. Nah, don't fancy.
I remember.
And it all went tits up. So this
I'd
time,
say, what's your favourites?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for my favourite films.
Watch Hubie Halloween. Watch The Bird.
I'm gonna do Hubie Halloween.
Watch The Cobweb.
I think
I'd
gonna
recommend
just
it.
do like some of my favourite horror films. I think.
American Werewolf.
Yeah.
Chuck a couple of classic zombies in
Did you see
there.
that bust I sent you on Facebook?
Yeah, I did. This is a bust, not as in breasts, everyone.
No, it's a head sculpture of the werewolf with its big old red gummy jaws sticking out the mouth, and it's actually
Life size, isn't it?
yeah, and the hairs are actually made from the hairs used from the actual one made in the movie, and they're selling it near me for 450 quid, and I was like, oh my god.
Imagine buying that and then putting it in someone's house, and when they come home late at night, and that's just...
The thing is, I was fairly tempted, but I'm about to move into a really small flat. I'm just going to have this massive werewolf head just sticking out the wall, and I'm like, I don't know.
Imagine a burglar.
If Deadbolt already had, shit him up, wouldn't it? If Deadbolt already had a studio set up, then in there, no worries. But
Yeah, that'd be one for the future, that one.
I know, so I don't know. I was thinking of saying 350. Would you take 350? I don't need it. I want it.
Well, that's like all the best things in life. You don't need them, you want them.
Well, I'm really stripping down. It's quite good. I'm moving to an even
I can
smaller
see.
place.
Oh, you mean...
Not
Sorry.
clothing. And I'm getting more minimalistic. And but that's just all of a sudden me just going, bought a fucking werewolf head though.
Yeah. Look, I've got rid of all those old socks that I've only got one pair of.
Got a werewolf head.
Don't worry about it. Gav, you haven't got any furniture? Yeah, I'm doing this whole minimalistic
Imagine
living
that.
thing.
Can I have it in your bedroom and you wake up, it's just there looking at you. Fucking hell.
Well, that's what... So in my attic right now, I've got a life-size Blade cardboard standee. And
You got Wesley Snipes in your loft.
on one side, it's Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Not Nick Nolte. You need Gary Busey hiding
on
in the house.
on one side, it's Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, Rush Hour of 1.
Really?
And then on the other side, it's Wesley Snipes with a big sword staring at you.
Is the shape of Wesley Snipes' sword the same shape as
it's like
those two?
it's a big square. Sort of thing.
So how did they magically do that? Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker doing the exact same shape as Blade with a sword.
But I used to always have to, when I lived with like 2 or 3 people, I'd always keep it at the top of the stairs. But with Blade and the girls that we lived with would never want that, because when they got home late at night, the first thing you see is you come to the front door, you look up the stairs. Wesley Snipes, sunglasses and a sword grinning down the stairs at you. So I'd always get home and it'd just be Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan looking at me, and I'd be like, for fuck's sake, I'd have to flip it around.
I was going to say, what if you had something really bad? And I was going to go, unfortunately, it pulled me right back to Jimmy Savile again. Imagine Jimmy Savile cut out and they come home and he's just there looking at them. That'd be awful, wouldn't it?
Jesus.
I like that,
So
though.
I've got Wesley up there now.
That's amazing. Absolutely. Yeah. Why is he not behind you now? He's fucking brilliant. I know no one else can see it but me, but it's just for my pleasure.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll dig him out next time. The kids will be like, "What's this?" I'll be like, "That's Wesley Snipes." You'll find out when you're older. He's your real daddy.
I have been watching bits and bobs here and there. I watched a movie with Sarah, a French horror spider movie called Infested. Not too bad. Kind of like people in a lockdown kind of wreck situation, but with spatters. Lots of spatters.
Yeah, it's getting good reviews.
It's not too bad. It's towards the end. Got to say, I got to start getting bored. But it's not too bad.
Funny enough, it came out at the same time as another movie called Sting, which I watched. And I would recommend to you. Sting takes place in a lockdown situation. Sting is set during a ice storm.
It doesn't star Sting, does it?
It doesn't. Imagine if it did. It was just Sting taking on spiders.
By Sting. Sting does the soundtrack.
Every move I make.
Every bite I make, I'm a spider.
Walking on the moon.
Walking on the cobwebs.
No, Sting is about a little girl in a bit of a fucked up family, and she's got a pet spider, but it's not a normal spider. I won't say any more than that. However, the apartment block they're in gets hit by a really bad ice storm, and they're kind of frozen in. They can't go out 'cause it's so cold. So it's perfect Gav movie. Isolation, cold, snow outside. And then one by one, people in the apartment start disappearing.
Splendid.
And it's also got some great arachnophobia and alien callbacks, and a couple of other Predator and a few other movies, but not just for the sake of it. They're little nods that are in there because the filmmakers are obviously, they love movies, and they put these in there for the fans rather than.
I will watch it. Yeah,
yeah, I recommend it. It's an Australian produced film, but it's an American.
Okay, that's
really good. I enjoyed that.
I also watched a film with which is a contained film, which I like, and it's an aeroplane film, which I like. I do like a good contained aeroplane film, and it was, in fact, it also had things going around. It was Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up No Way Up for the third episode in a row. Every episode. I watched a film called No Way Up.
Everyone's like, have I heard this episode?
So you watched Snakes on a Plane? I haven't seen that for years.
Exactly that. And I was like, well, when I'm with Elijah, and he's in the kitchen straight living room, he's there as well. And he's watching YouTube, or he's doing Claymore, he's just doing his own thing. I'm like, well, I put something on. So I have to you have to kind of judge what you're going to watch, as you know, as a parent, And he's okay. I can put on horror-y stuff, but he doesn't like horror. He told me the other day, I don't like attention. He's like, I don't mind if I'm just dropped in, there's loads of gore, that's fine. He says what he doesn't like is the tension, the build-up. And I was like, oh, fair enough. So I thought, I'll put on Snakes on a Plane, because he looks around, it's just going to be Samuel L. Jackson going, what the fuck? So I was just like, that'll do. And I put it on, and actually really quite enjoyed it. It's got a lot better than I thought, I remember it being. I think when it first came out, we all kind of just went, Snakes on the Plane, because we were, I think, in the luxury of having lots of possibly good movies, or movies that didn't have these sort of titles at that time. So we looked at Snakes on the Plane, we were like, what the fuck is that? And it's obviously, it sounds like
and then
a
it went on to
kind of
Spawn,
B-movie.
Sharknado, and all those.
And I think it was a very early predecessor, because obviously you had Snakes on a
Train. And it
Train
had Samuel
came
Jackson in it as well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's pretty decent.
And I think we kind of dismissed it as a culture when it first came out. Watching it again, kind of enjoyed it, got to admit. I was like, I want Samuel L. Jackson, a load of snakes on a plane, and
they made a
people just
sequel,
get killed.
which I've never seen. Snakes on a Train.
No, they didn't. Asylum made Snakes on a Train at the exact same time as Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, wow.
It was in Warwolves, when we still had Warwolves in the UK, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And there's Snakes on a Train plane had just come out in the cinema.
Oh.
And that was my first ever inkling of like, what is this? And it's Asylum very early on, and it's like you said, it's like the first film that got all that shit going where we are now with like a shark documentary, because probably all these sorts of things.
Basically, what I do with my spare time, watching
basically for you,
mecha shark versus giant wolf bear.
So I think you should go back to the granddad. It's like Blair Witch or whatever.
Well, we will go back. We've got it paired up with
Cannibal Apocalypse,
with Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez in Anaconda. So I think we'll be doing a Snakes episode probably next summer.
Yeah, it's kind of, it was just fun.
Yeah. A man gets bitten on the willy. I do remember a snake on the willy.
I'm going to say, and I haven't really watched much else, but speaking of fun though, I did watch some bits and bobs with Sarah, but Sarah and I did a whole day of the Final Destination films, one's for this review. And I've got to say, the Final Destination movies are so accessible, because I was just like, oh man, 3 reviews is my brain and well, I have to like move around, gonna take it, and absolutely fine, because I didn't really do much reviews of the actual plot so much, because it's the same sort of plot really. I did just the kills, and we did that in all the 3 films in one day, and we fucking loved it. We had some snacks,
we'll
some drinks.
Hold that thought, then we'll come to that when we get into the movies properly. One final movie that I want to talk about before we go into our first review then. We both watched a brand new film by director Jeremy Saulnier, who is the director of Green Room, whom some of you may have seen about the punk band that gets embroiled in a big sort of horrible, violent riot. You've seen Green Room, I'm sure, Gav?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, and
Patrick Stewart.
That's right, Jesus, yeah, like neo-Nazis and stuff. Well, that director has done another film. He's done a couple of movies, but he's done a brand new movie, which originally starred the lad from Star Wars and Attack the Block. Well, I can't remember his name. Now. But anyway, he pulled out, and then COVID happened, this, that, and the other, and eventually they got in a new guy to play him, Aaron Pierre, and it's a film called Rebel Ridge, which went straight to Netflix. But it's fucking great, and it's basically a modern day Rambo.
Yeah, very much.
With some John Wick elements, very small John Wick elements in there.
Yeah, a lot less action than John Wick. It's not a John Wick type film,
but with a slight racial tension in there, because it's a bit of the deep south, and he's a black ex-marine.
Yeah, it's playing with the John J. Rambo thing of going to a town and not being welcomed, and it's playing on that. But then obviously you can look at it and playing it on colour a little bit as well, and it's really interesting because the main protagonist in it, all the way through, is just over the top polite.
Oh, he's so calm and lovely to everyone.
Because that's his training. He even says, "I've never had a street fight," but this guy's like a fucking trains killers to be killers.
He's an MCMAP, which is a Marine Corps martial arts something or other. He basically trains Marines to kill people with their bare hand, and he can take you down whether you're 10 feet away with a gun or whether you're in front of him with a knife. He can take you down. He knows how to do it.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable film, and he's basically just there's certain reasons he's there. It was very tense, almost too tense for me at times. And the main sheriff was great.
With Don Johnson, he's good.
There's a one point where he shits himself and he's just looking outside on the phone saying, tell me what is he? Oh, thank God.
Yeah, because they look at, what did he do in the Marines? MCMAP. What does that stand for? I don't know. And then they find out what it means.
Oh, yeah, when he's already chatting to him. They find out what it is when he's chatting to him outside. And
you want to put some distance between you and him immediately. And he's like, what? And he goes, I've just found out what it stands for before he can do anything. Boom, boom, boom. But it's really,
check it out. Yeah,
really
good.
Recommend it. Yeah, if you guys like your attention.
I'm a big a fan of the action. Well, as a lot of people are, because people don't like the injustices of the world. So people like to get back. So when you have a lone soldier who goes, right, you've pushed me too far. I've been polite. Right,
keep pushing me.
And I like those films. And I was looking for one the other night. Yeah, okay, I did watch another film. I watched Last Blood again. I really dissed it before. It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. I really dissed it when it first came out. I do apologise.
Don't worry, I'm sure Sly doesn't mind too much. But yeah, that director, Jeremy Saulnier, The Green Room, and he did another one called Blue Ridge or something like that before. No, not Ridge. He did another one. But I really feel like he could do a great horror movie because he does incredible tension, and there's always really extreme violence in his films. So I'd love to see him do a horror.
I found Rebel Ridge not forced at all. It just kind of played out as like
that guy was
it's like I put it to like reading a book. You kind of sit down and just want to watch a film, kind of just let it unfold in front of you.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. The main actor was really hypnotising, really handsome.
He had pretty eyes.
He had really lovely green eyes, and he's just this big black fella that was just so polite. But then when you find out that he's a killing machine, you're like, fuck. But then when you want him to just take out everybody in the town, don't you? You're like, please get them.
Oh yeah, I was watching. I was like, and he got pretty eyes.
He has. He really does. He's hot.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Final Destination. Save all your thoughts, Gav, because what we'll do now is we'll have a trailer for Final Destination 3.
Yep.
And when we come back, we can talk about Final Destination franchise, get into that movie and its kills, and we're going to have some fun for the next couple of hours, guys. So here we go. Let's do some Final Destination. Gav, you ready for a trailer?
Let's do it.
Pop a cap in your ass.
Or anything else which isn't a cap.
ones who got off that roller coaster are still going to die. Unless we can figure out how to stop it.
I never thought I could see my own death before it happened.
Final Destination Part 3 from 2006, rated 15, an hour and 33 minutes. Wendy Christensen and a group of teens who escaped a fatal roller coaster crash face a bloody date with death. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, the text was a little smaller. Here we are, ladies, gents, everyone. Final Destination Part 3, we're back again. Everybody knows what we're back for. It's the same as the last time, and it'll be the same again after this.
Yes. So you were, before we get into this movie, let's talk about this franchise very briefly.
Yeah.
You were talking about it's an accessible franchise.
Really
because you know what you're getting.
It's a fun one because, yeah, you know what, you're coming. It's like the reason Friday the 13th was popular for a certain group of people was, what's the kill going to be? So they'd go to the movie, seeing how Jason would take people out. This is like, you go to the movie because you want to see how elaborate the death sequences are and what they've done.
The same with Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's so fun.
What wacky dream sequences is Freddy going to get you with?
When you know the formula, you know it is, because this does a Tony Todd kind of loosely, but there isn't really like like your Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, or your Jason. There's not really a massive themed person. There's looseness. They know of the actual incidents that have happened in the previous films in that universe. They've happened, so they sometimes mention them back and forth. Oh, once upon a time there was an airport, this thing happened once before. That's been mentioned a couple of times in these films, so everyone knows it. But what we're here for, and which still feels like home, and that's what Hollywood likes. That's the Hollywood movies which are made, are the ones which make you feel at home because you already know them. This film, even though it doesn't have that, it does have death, which is the weirdest protagonist.
And they're liked by
And people want death to do its thing.
They're liked by non-horror fans as well, fans that are casual horror fans. Yeah. Same with the Saw franchise.
Accessible. This film.
Yeah.
Very.
And with these movies, you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get a big opening disaster. And then you know you're going to get lots of brutal,
you're going to have a couple
deaths.
more big set pieces, but you're going to have some small things. But I could even take the first one, I'd probably say, not like three or four or whatever, to my mum and probably say, check this out. And she'd probably watch it and go, oh, that was fun, wasn't it? Even it's that accessible, you know. And it's not like when you say a horror movie, it's not like it's going to be a zombie or a serial killer, or you don't really know what's going to happen so much. You know, people are going to die, and in some really elaborate way, but we don't actually see a killer. There's not actually one person going around stabbing or doing actually any of the deaths. It's just death itself. It's such a fun idea,
and that is what makes, in my opinion, elevates this franchise.
You can make these forever.
Yeah, because that's what makes them a little bit scarier, is that it's a presence rather than having a masked killer like most slashers or good franchises. It's a presence that you don't see. You know it's death, but death is inevitable. We all know that. So therefore, it's whatever you're doing, it can get you.
Poltergeist doesn't do it like this, but this just, I don't know what it is. You can't see it like you're saying. It's just really
and also,
fun.
You know, if your number's up, your number's up, and if your number's up because you've dodged the big, event at the beginning of the film, you've got to then be paranoid for the rest of your life to try and avoid, I can't have any sharp objects near me, I can't get a car, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy.
But what these films turn into, for Sarah and I just sort of came up to it with Sarah, I was like, fuck it, we could just rate all the kills. Then I was like, right, I'm fucking messaging down right now. Message you to say, can we rate the kills? Because really, this is the fun shit.
So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to rattle through 3, 4, and 5. We'll do them obviously in order. We're going to do 3 first. We will briefly talk about the plot,
story a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but what we're going to do is we'll talk about the kills when they come out, and each of us are going to rate them out of 10. And then and then right at the end, we've got a couple of other bits and bobs we want to do with regards to the franchise once we've done the 5th one.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start with the Final Destination 3 then. So we've done an aeroplane, we've done a highway motorcar pilot.
And everybody always, how many people put up a picture and there's the meme of the truck in front of you, and you always say, "Oh, I'm not going out driving today," I've sent a picture through to you saying, "Fuck it, look what's in front of me." You know, I'm not driving at the same time; I'm a passenger.
Well, this time it's a roller coaster. And we covered it a couple of episodes back, actually. We talked about roller coaster rides gone wrong.
But imagine, though, when you're first time watching these in a cinema or whatever, and you go to watch this, and you're just like, yes, it's a roller. I suppose you'd seen a trailer, but you might, if you hadn't, you'd be like, yes, it's a roller coaster. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
You said Tony Todd's in it. It's got my first note says no Tony Todd. You said he does the voice to you.
He does the voice of the main ride.
Kind of loosely in it.
The Devil's Flight.
He's not in part 4 though, is he?
He's in all of them in some way.
Really shit.
He does voices if he's not in them. But in this one, he does the voice. Welcome.
That's bollocks. He's doing the voice. It's not. It is in it, but it's not really in it.
Yeah, but it's still Tony Todd. He gets the credit.
Tony Todd's cool, but I think that's bullshit. But must have been busy.
What a voice! Talking of voices, probably should mention we lost James Earl Jones, another fantastic voice in movies.
I feel bad to say this. I thought it passed a long time ago. I don't know why.
He was in his 90s.
Yeah. I just haven't seen him for a long time.
The voice of Darth Vader, the voice of Hakim's father. I'm looking for my son.
Oh, of course. He was in the remake, wasn't he?
The remake of... Coming to America.
Coming to America, yeah.
Yeah, he was in that too.
Yeah, I saw him in that. That was only maybe 2 years ago.
Also played the Lion King's father. He's been in everything.
Right.
And his best role, in my opinion, wasn't Darth Vader. It was in No Retreat, No Surrender with Eric Roberts.
Of course it was.
But anyway, just talking of great voices, Tony Todd's got one of those voices too, and that's why he plays a coroner in most of these movies, or just does a voice somewhere in the background. Anyway,
so we're at Fairground.
We're at Fairground, and there are clues. As always, these movies, you're getting little clues. Close-ups of a screw that looks like it might be a bit loose, or close-ups of a breeze coming through an air vent, and all these little things. This is how death gets you. It relies on little tiny things, coincidences. And we meet Wendy, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You're a fan of her, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I fancy her. Sarah knows it, so you do know it, so, you know.
Ever since that Thing movie came out...
I think so, yeah, the prequel, yeah.
You were like, she's great.
Yeah.
But, I think this might have been the first time I ever saw her in. She's been in a few bits and bobs, so...
Do you know she's a singer with Danny Automator?
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. I didn't know that. No, I did know that,
actually. I've heard stuff, not really my sort of thing, but Danny Automator famously, like, Dr. Octagon or loads of stuff. Yeah.
There's only other one person I want to mention from the cast, because they're mostly unknown people. But there is one actor in this who has got one of the best best names ever. His real name is...
Harry Ballsack.
Texas Battle.
Oh, yeah. It's a good name, isn't it?
Texas Battle. What a name. He sounds like a Native American or something.
I reckon his parents own guns.
I'm wondering if that's his real name, or if he didn't choose that because he became an actor and he thought, I want to be called Texas Battle.
Texas Battle.
But it's up there with River Phoenix, isn't it? River Phoenix and Texas Battle.
Yeah.
Woo-wee. Anyway, so yeah, here we go.
And you get the main jock from Tucker and Dale.
Oh, yes, he's in that too.
He's Mary's boyfriend, maybe?
Yeah.
One thing in this, they're sitting just chatting away and they're having some food and stuff, and one of the boyfriends just does a total upskirt photo with his camera.
Yeah, let's come on to that. So this one thing this movie has different to the other movies is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, her character Wendy, has got a digital camera because it's 2006, and she does something different for this movie. None of the other films do this that I remember. She's taken a bunch of pictures from the night of the terrible disaster, and when she looks back at them a few years later, it's like The Omen when he looks at the photos.
Yeah, it is.
And she sees, oh, hang on. So in this movie, she's got ways to work out how they might die, because on each picture, on each photo, there's like something that indicates how you might die, which is very interesting. And they never came back to that for 4 and 5, but I thought that was quite interesting. But yes, you're right. Her sleazy friend grabs the camera and upskirts a girl.
And her boy, the guy who's doing it, his girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
I was getting confused then. His girlfriend's there, and she's like, "Oh, don't," sort of says stuff. Like Sarah said to me, "If you did that, we'd be having some serious words."
Well, they're going to break up anyway because when he's away, Erin's like, "I'm going to dump him." She knows he's a sleazebag anyway. The girls that he took the photo of.
And at this point here, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's fine just doing upskirts of people. No one really was really too bothered.
Well, they're called Ashlyn and Ashley and
They're not bothered,
Ashlyn.
are they? Nobody's bothered by it.
No, well, they get their boobs out later on. They're fine with it.
Yeah, but even the people around him, everybody, no one's bothered by the fact that he's taking photos upskirts.
Well, I think digital cameras are a new thing. There was a law that said when you first got a digital camera, for the first 12 months, you're allowed to do upskirt.
It's actually only become illegal recently in the past 2 years.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I was on a stag do once in Berlin, and I was sat on the grass.
Did someone take a picture up your shorts?
And we were
Up
there
shorts.
Six or seven of us lads all led down in a park, having a drink because it was Berlin. One of the guys looked at me and he went, "Are you a fan of upskirt, Dan?"
What?
I went, "What?" He said, "Are you a fan of upskirt?" I thought, what the fuck kind of a question is this? And all the other blokes looked at him like, "What are you asking Dan that for?" And I went, "What? Why are you asking me that?" And he went, "Look over there." And we all looked around. And there was this poor girl sat down, like led down, with a tiny little skirt on. And I said to him, "Why have you made us all look over?"
So like a group
Fucking
of
hell.
men all turn and look like savages.
Luckily, she didn't see, thankfully. She was facing the other way. But I just thought,
Pack of wild wolves.
Why ask me that?
And but hang on though, we need to get into this more. He's like fan of upskirts. What? Because he's like he's on his mind that much, so he doesn't know what other thing in the whole world to bring up as a conversation opener. Anything
like saying
you could
to me-
say. Have you seen the price of soap recently? It's gone down.
That'd be like saying to me, "Oh, are you do you like red Lamborghinis, Dan?" What? There's one over there.
It is, but this is like, do you like to not let people know that you're trying to look at their private areas and take photos of them? Are you like not just into it? Are you a fan? Like,
You a fan of cottaging, Dan?
Like a fan club? Like
What?
I've got posters on my walls. What the fuck?
I know. Anyway, upskirt. Anyway, so yeah, we meet these people. There's
That's a weird segue.
there's two couples. Well, I just thought I'd have to bring that up. There's two couples. One of them was going to break up anyway. And we also have a guy called Lewis, who's played by Texas Battle, and he's really strong and he works out.
Because he's called Texas Battle.
And he smashes the hammer, and rings the bell and all that kind of stuff. He knocks the top off of it. And we hear the devil laugh, ha, 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 ha. That's Tony Todd. And the devil's laugh is on the ride that they're going to go on called the Devil's Flight.
But what does Tony Todd actually say in it? Is that
says-
later on?
He says, "Welcome to Devil's Flight."
Is that it?
He says, "Make sure you strap in for what might be the last ride of your life," or something along those
Is
lines.
that the
He does
only
all that
thing
kind of
he's
stuff.
in the movie?
No, I think he says a bit more later on. I can't remember now.
I'm not having this. I'm saying he's not in the movie, and
But
I
hang
don't care
on.
what you say.
Well, hang on. We need to talk about Frankie. Frankie Cheeks. He always
Frankie
refers to himself in the
Cheeks?
third person.
Does he?
And
Which one's that?
He's the one who thinks he's a ladies' man.
You got to remember, everybody, that I did go through 3 movies in one day. So Gavy's little brain isn't
that's
always
your-
that good, and it might get confused.
That's your problem. But Frankie Cheeks is
And
the
Frankie
pervy
Cheeks.
guy
Look
that
at me.
hangs out, that tries to hang out with them all, and he tries to like perv on all the girls and ask them out on dates, and he wants to take videos
Oh
of them.
God, that guy.
He's like, "Come on, get your sweet butt cheeks out. I want to take a picture." And he's like doing all this horrible
Yeah,
stuff.
he's basically got a camera, and he's just like, before everyone's got a phone, he's just like got a camera in everyone's face. Yeah. But
He
they
says,
get
"Make
really,
sure you flash them titties when we get to the top of the ride."
it's really like
What?
you're not going to pull. I guaranteed you're not going to pull with what you're saying. But because of the way he is, he gets the camcorder knocked out of his hands, which is a catalyst.
Yeah, so Wendy is our main protagonist. She sees lots of signs, just like all the people before her in the other Final Destination movies. Signs that something doesn't feel right. She just gets a feeling, and there's her eyes drawn to like a leaking fuel cable underneath the roller coaster ride, and a screw that looks loose, and one of the barriers doesn't seem to be working properly. And then Frankie, creepy Frankie, pushes in with his video camera and disrupts Death's flow, because they were supposed to all die on this roller coaster in a certain order, and because he's jumped in, he's going to fuck it up. But also they're going to have to work that a bit out a bit later on. So yeah, there's some chewing gum stuck there, and the guy says no cameras, and he's still got his camera, and you're not supposed to stick your arms up in the air, as we all know the rules on roller coasters. But the roller coaster starts, and of course Poor V Frankie drops his video camera. His harness unlocks. The wheels jam. The camera lands on the tracks. The wheels come off, and shit hits the fan because people start falling out.
It turns Lost Boys when they're hanging on the train track and they're all just dropping down.
Well, first of all, one of the cars just goes flying off the ramp.
Whee!
See you later, mate. You're gone. Yeah, and then they stop upside down on the loop, don't they?
Yeah, and then
They're all
people just
hanging.
dropping.
And you just see them one at a time. Like,
It's really cool, and it's not that long really, because we then have Mary wake up as she falls and she freaks out.
Well, just before that, we do get someone beheaded as well, and then Wendy falls.
Okay.
And she's about to die, but yes, then boom. So this is your back in the room moment.
Yeah.
So when they have a vision, I always call it a back in the room moment, and she's back. And she says, whoa, 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 this roller coaster is going to crash. The usual thing, I want to get off. Everybody, let's get off. It's the hydraulics. There's blah, 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 and everyone sort of goes, all right, come on then, let's get off then. And of course, they all get off apart from a few people, and the roller coaster crashes.
So it's the exact same setup as the first one, you know.
What we should say is Wendy's boyfriend couldn't get off the roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't understand that. He's like, can you let me off? And the two fucking teenage spotty employees, looking
like,
at each
nah,
other.
buddy, you're okay.
Like, just got to press that button and let the dude off. Like, why are you not listening to the your customer?
Well, he dies.
He dies.
That's that. So we've had our disaster, and we've now have our survivors, 6 or 7 people, various perverts and horribles.
When this happens, like say the original, for example, I'm going to use that as my base level for the movies. The original, once in the instant happens, you get the reactions. The first one's got more in-depthness to it than the other films, especially with character development slightly. There's a bit more with them. Because you've got Stifler in the first one, you know.
Yeah.
So you've got all their reactions, and it gets their reactions seeing the plane crashing really on that. This film, when it happens, the main thing happened. No reaction shots. It didn't really linger.
Well, the first film, the plane explosion, when it happens for real, not in the vision, it's so less is more in a fantastic way, because you only see the explosion from the airport.
Yeah.
And the glass blows out a few seconds later.
It's really good, yeah.
And
their reaction of that happening.
We just hear the roller coaster crash, crush, and fire explosion.
And that's lacking from it. I wanted to see a little bit more of that, but that's just my own opinion.
Well, cut to about a week or two later, and Wendy goes to school at night. She's clearing out a locker.
By the way, I did score that one. Just overall.
Oh, did you? Okay. What did you score that?
I gave it a 7, and Sarah gave it a 7.5, and that's out of 10 for the whole incident.
Yeah, I only gave it a 5.
Okay.
5 out of 10.
It's gonna be really interesting to see what we feel like,
because it didn't really do it for me, and it didn't tap into any. So the reason I'm scoring them is related to whether or not it taps into any fears I have as well.
Oh, nice.
As well as the amount of gore.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
For me, generally it's gore, amount of gore, and then tension. Some of them don't have any tension, and it's literally boom gore. But the gore's good, but it's like there's no tension. Sometimes it's good tension.
Sometimes there's a blue balls kill, which I call them, which is where you're teased and teased and teased and teased, and nothing happens. And a good example of that is the dentist.
Then cuts to something else. Yep.
That is a blue balls kill right there.
All right, well, let's carry on then.
Okay, so I gave that one a 5. So
a dude's talking to Wendy about the first film. Well, not really the first film, but what happened.
Well, he says to her, I heard about another incident like you mentioned to do with some kids that were on a flight, and all the survivors, and she's like, well, don't expect me to come to the graduation. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I've just seen half my class killed. I'm clearly not going to come to the graduation. All right, cool, that's that. And then it's tan time.
It's tan time. It's 2 ladies who want to get their breasts out and do some tanning.
I love that their names are Ashley and Ashlyn. They're like the biggest airheads you've ever seen, bless them.
They are. They've been literally. You can almost read the script and imagine what the description, can you?
And they walk in, and you've got not a sleazy guy, but a guy who's complacent running the place.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, whatever. And he's on the phone, obviously dealing with some business. He's speaking
his wife or something, isn't it?
Other language, and not really too focused. But they're regulars because they all even say like, I've been here last week, so and so or whatever. So they're kind of all aware of each other, and he's kind of just like, yeah, cool, whatever. Just fucking go in. Just don't take the drinks in there.
So they do take the drinks in there, and while they're getting set up,
and he goes outside and just shuts the door, but puts a wedge there, so it's all right. And he goes outside.
Of tanning lotion.
Tanning lotion, and he goes outside. He's on the phone and just leaves it there. That's his way to get back in.
Tube slowly squeezing away. The door will lock.
What dickhead with a heavy door uses a tube of fucking toothpaste type thing? Or
this guy.
What an idiot.
But while they're getting set up, we'll come back to them in a minute. While they're getting set up, we also get Wendy talking to her sister. They have a little bit of a fight. She feels the breeze. And
I feel the breeze.
The breeze of death's breath, it's death's breath. And she's like
Kylie Minogue pop song.
She's looking at the camera, and she realizes, I've got pictures from the night of death. And her sister's like, I need to borrow the camera, because, no one's got cameras on their phones back then. She's like, all right, let me just empty the memory card. And then she starts realizing, I've got all these pictures of my dead boyfriend and all my friends. And then she starts realizing small details, the photos seem to predict everyone's death. Anyway, back to Ashlyn and Ashley. They get their boobs out. They didn't want to do it, but the director made it very comfortable on set for them, apparently, and made sure there was hardly anyone there. And he said, look, trust me, because we should mention the director is none other than James Wong, who directed the first movie, came back to the director's one. And what's interesting is the director of the second movie directed the fourth movie. So it was almost like they were having a battle between each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then somebody random directed the fifth one. But yes, so the girls' drinks condensation drops onto the electrics within there. There's a loose shelf. They put a song on the radio. What song is on, Gav? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Of course it is. Of love.
And they're singing it, aren't they?
Something that they always do in the Final Destination films is have the music match up or be ironic. Like in the first movie, you had John Denver singing Rocky Mountain High, and obviously John Denver died in a plane crash. So
fuck's sake.
They always do like quite cool little things with the music, and that's why I really love this franchise.
I'm sure John Denver would have loved that.
John Denver, what a legend. So the AC comes on because the heating. She's put the heating out because they were cold. Well, that's because you're in your pants, you donut.
Yeah.
You silly girl. But the air conditioning blows. The coat's over on a shelf, which knocks the shelf off. The shelf flips, lodges them into their sunbeds.
They're locked in.
And then
they get hot. They get cooked.
They get hotter and hotter, and they basically fry. And it's really effective. Nice sizzling skin.
Kentucky Fried Woman.
And the guy hears them screaming outside and smells the burning, but he can't get in because the tube of suntan lotion is empty, meaning the door is shut tight.
And they
double fry.
Burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, double fry. What do you give this death?
Well, by the way, there's a third silent partner in this, and that is Sarah, because I've got all of her scores as well.
Okay.
So Sarah's a 6, and I'm a 7. What are you?
I'm a 7, and the reason for that is this is the first double death.
Okay, I didn't think that, but I do like the whole picture. So yeah.
Yeah, I like the trapped in because that's been done.
It's good build up, good tension.
That's been done in other movies where someone almost fries or starts getting fried, even in Lock, Stock, Yeah. But the fact that it was two for the price of one in this one, and they fried. So I gave it. If it was just one of them, I probably would have given this like a 6. But because it's two girls, and the setup, like you say, and the roller coaster song playing, just added to it also 7.
Yeah,
it's a good death.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Nice.
So it's begun.
I've literally now got no other notes until the drive-through, then I've got my score for that.
Great. Well, I'll quickly fill in then.
So go for it, yeah.
we cut to a funeral for all the people that died in the roller coaster, which is half the class. And we meet Ian, who's a bit of a weirdo in the school, and he kicks off a little bit and says, why did they die? Why am I still alive? And all that kind of shit. He's a bit of a goth, and he sort of storms off and gets walked off by two of the bigger lads, Lewis and somebody else. Frankie's there saying, oh, they were prime meat. If it wasn't for me trying to take pictures of them upskirt and look at their boobs, they wouldn't have gone and got tanned on that sunbed. Oh, it's my fault. And they're like, I don't really think you're responsible for girls trying to look hot. Weird pervert, fuck off. Wendy and Kevin have a chat, and she says, look, I want to tell you about this weird dark presence I've been feeling. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And then as she says that, the wind blows and all the leaves blow around her, and he's like, oh, you mean that? If someone said to me, I've been feeling a weird presence around me, and then suddenly loads of leaves started blowing, I'd say, right, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
She says, let's have a look at these photos. I've got them printed out on my 2006 printer. Have a look at these. And he's like, well, these don't mean anything. And she's like, no, it does. It means this shows us how we're going to die. And he says, I don't want to see my photo. I don't want to see any of these photos. Let's go get some food. So they drive and they walk. They talk about the seating and the order that they were supposed to die in. And then they get to the drive-through. And the radio plays on its own. And they're getting a bit freaked out. And then a runaway truck comes over the hill.
You just see, it's fairly good setup, because you got a drive-through, and they are the ones just waiting for their food, and you got a car behind them as well.
So there's a car in front of them and a car behind them, but then a lorry pulls up, and a lorry pulls up to the side.
Yes, they're kind of stuck. And there's in the distance coming down the hill, you could just see a bloke going, oh, waving his arms.
He's not going, ooh, like that. Oh, God, I'm in trouble.
It's like a Carry On movie. Oh, matron. And there's this truck just freewheeling, no driver, going straight towards them. The guy, the couple behind actually see it, reverse and get the fuck out. Quite surprisingly.
The guy in front, he's beeping, and we don't see who the guy in front is, and he just flips them off without turning around. Like, fuck off, I'll get my burger and then I'll go. Don't rush me.
Yeah, well, generally, I've never been at a takeaway and then takeaway drive-through, and someone's like starts beeping. I think, I bet there's a runaway truck behind coming for us. It wouldn't be my first thought. So yeah, he's flipping the bird.
Yeah, and it turns out that it was Frankie, pervy Frankie Cheeks, who was in front of them, and they get out of their car just as the truck smashes into them.
It's a good one.
The motor of the truck the engine block comes flying out with a little propeller motor bit on the front, and it just goes straight into the back of Frankie's head. Now, you don't see anything initially.
Yeah.
You kind of just see like a and then it cuts away. But then we see, because we see the aftermath. Good. Now,
I love that head coming off.
I only give this a 5 out of 10.
Oh.
My description is aftermath was better than the actual kill.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
What did you score it?
Sarah's a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a 7.
For me, if the aftermath had been, if the beginning bit had been as good as the aftermath, it would have got higher. But it was just the aftermath was really all I got. But it was good. Good to see that skull chopped up nicely. So that's Frankie Cheeks gone. That's another one of them off the list.
Yep.
And now they're starting to realise that Wendy is talking sense. And this is where we meet our coroner, Tony Todd.
Oh, Tony Todd's actually in it then, this one. Okay.
Is he in this one? I
don't know. You tell me. I've got no notes ready.
Well, I've written here coroner. They discuss whether their theory is correct.
I think it's Tony Todd.
It's not Tony Todd, okay.
No.
Well, they discuss whether their theory is correct or not. They look at some photos, and they're looking at, Lewis is in this photo. There's a picture of him with swords above him. Oh, hang on a minute. He's at the gym working out right now, and there's a big set of swords at the gym that he works out, because the team that he plays for has got swords in the logo. Oh, we better go there right now.
There's one bit... I've got a note here. When the guy says, tell me, how do I die? Is this something up my ass? It's like, why out of any way would you die? Do you think it's something up your bosom?
Well, he says to her, I don't want to see my own photo until it's time. And he goes, unless it's something embarrassing or is it really going to hurt, or is it something to do with my ass? And she's like,
is it something going up my arse? Like, what?
well, people have died with things going up their arse, Gav.
Why would that be the first thing you think of?
That man with a horse. Remember that man that got raped to death by a horse?
Why would that be your first thing you think of?
Oh, I'd want to know about it if it was going to happen.
Yeah, but why would you go there?
I don't know. Some people like horses.
I'd be like, oh, decapitation. Hopefully it's not decapitation. Like, oh,
how would you want to go?
If I had to I had to choose.
If I had to go.
Had to be going. If I had to choose a way to be killed, don't know, quick and easy.
You know mine.
Fucking bullet, I guess. Bullet to the head.
I want a shark.
A shark?
I gotta be a fucking shark killing me. Dan Bone taken out by a shark. You love shark movies?
You could do like jump out of an airplane, but that'd be bad because on the way down you'd be having some wild thoughts.
I'd like to jump out of an airplane into a shark.
Into a shark that's got a gun.
Fucking hell.
A Tommy gun.
Nuclear shark.
Gangster shark from the 1920s with a Tommy gun. And he's actually called Tommy. Tommy the Shark.
Well, you're never going to make my death happen like that.
Hopefully,
if you can,
Tommy the Shark's going to take you out. He's going to pop a shark cap in your ass.
I cried the other day reading about a story about a couple who were going to Switzerland to go into one of these assisted death capsules together, because she's got the early start of dementia, and she's been a dementia nurse her entire life, and she knows how bad it can get. So she wants to go and die. And he said her husband, they've been married for like 45 years, her husband said, I'm going with her and we're going to die in each other's arms. We've got a playlist set up, and we're going to go and listen to our favourite songs, and we've arranged everything for the funeral. They've done it all. They want to go out like that. And I was crying my eyes out reading this article, like, man, they know what they're doing. Like, and I was thinking, do I agree with it? I was thinking, I think I do. I think I do agree with that. If people want to do it and they're of sound mind, do it. But the picture of the death capsule was like a big sort of futuristic sort of bed with a cover over the top, and I just think, Christ,
it's dark, man. You've really darkened this episode, haven't you?
It's Final Destination.
Yeah, but that's not fun, is it? Jesus Christ.
Well, anyway, let's go to the gym then. So they know Lewis is in the gym, and he's in and all these testosterone guys are in there going.
A while ago, Sarah's daughter had a gym membership. So Sarah's like, oh, I suppose I have to go with her. And Sarah's idea of the gym was this. Sarah now goes to the gym about 2 or 3 times, or as much as she can a week, and she fucking loves it. It's like her new home. She fucking loves it. But it's because it's not like this. This is such a...
Well, this isn't really a gym. This is like the
steroid
boys
gym.
This is like the boys' gym locker where they work out after a football game at the school. Oh, okay. So it's full of the boys who are all in the same team, and they hate the opposition team. And they've got a big bear, like a pretend bear that they've got, that they all punch every time they walk past it, because that's the mascot for the opposite team. They're like, fuck the bears, yeah, fuck the bears, rah, 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 rah. And they're all doing that as they're working out.
But I love it, though. This is when we get, when Mary walks in there, Wendy with the dude she's with, and they walk in there straight away, and they say, though, which is great, because the audience, it's reinforcing it to us, the audience, us what we know already, and just letting us know it again. Anything in here could kill him. Like, and they're looking around at all the stuff that could kill him, and straight away we're like, yes, this is why we're here for this film.
There's like a wobbly bench, there's a radio with a loose plug, there's some water dripping near an electrical socket.
This is why you could make these films forever, honestly.
And then you've got those 2 big swords up on the wall that are wobbling every time they do the weights, they're wobbling, and you're like, oh, what's it going to be? And they walk straight in and they go, Lewis, you're going to die. He's like, I don't die. I just win, baby. Yeah, I just win all the time. That's all I do. And they're like, no, you listen to us. Death is coming. It's taken out Frankie Cheeks. It's taken out this, that, and the other. You know, the 2 girls got fried. Yeah. And he's like, no, man, I just win. I just win. And he's benching so hard that those swords chop down and they miss him.
And he's like, woo!
He goes, see, I win, baby. That's all I do. I just win. And then he pulls the weights down, not realising that those swords have cut the cables. And when he pulls them down, the 2 heaviest weights you've ever seen go...
crush his head.
And explode his head. Wow.
Sarah and I both gave it a 6.
What? 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Oh, well, for me, it's not enough build-up for me in tension. It was just the gore.
Yeah, but for me, it was the testosterone. It was like the release.
Because
it was just like and all this shouting, and then it just ended with a massive explosion.
Muscly,
like a cum
sweaty,
shot.
muscly, sweaty men, was it?
It was like a big cum shot at the end, like after all that testosterone build-up. And the fact that he shouted just before he died, "I just win, baby," and then his head exploded. Plus, it tricked you. You thought it was going to be the swords, but it was actually the weights that killed him.
A misdirect. I don't, definitely not an 8.5 in my books, but yeah, okay, cool.
My favourite kill so far, that one. All right then. So next up, we are going to the DIY store that Ian works at with the other chick, and they're there together. They're sort of packing up for the night. Ian's killing nails, pigeons with a nail gun.
It's funny because they've gone there. We know that whoever they've gone to see, we know is about to die. Bless them.
It's kind of like
don't
when,
come ring me up. Don't come visit me. Whatever you do, both of you stay the fuck away from me.
It's like whenever Jessica Fletcher goes on holiday somewhere.
Yeah, don't do it.
Why she come to this city?
That's why I want to do the ultimate episode where Jessica Fletcher is the killer.
Yeah, you find out that's why.
She's the killer.
I mean, let's be honest. Everywhere she goes, someone dies. It's got to be her.
That's what I'd do. If they were to do a Murder, She Wrote movie nowadays, that's what I'd do.
With the use of AI in years, you can do that. And Columbo will be the one hot on her heels everywhere she goes. It's always pulling up going, Jessica, you're here again. Why?
So they're at this warehouse of these two who are working late, which is quite funny. At one point they go, we're just going to knock off for work now. Yet the next scene is they carry on working and they're still doing some more work. Like, what are you doing? You said you stopped working. Regardless. Yeah. They're at this big warehouse going around. No one else is there. So for some reason they're just stacking shelves or whatever. But this has got a massive build-up because the whole time we're like, any of this shit could happen now and they could die. So it's a really big build-up here, but it's very subtle.
It's a huge Home Depot store
really
full of
subtle.
every tool and
he's
sharp
shooting
object.
Pigeons, little bastard, didn't he? He could just shoot them away.
His boss has told him to
just shoot
kill them.
And he's got with a big nail gun, so straight away
I'd
like,
kill
fucking
them.
hell.
I hate pigeons.
Oh, fair enough.
I'd kill them with a nail gun.
All right, calm down.
Pigeons and seagulls, I don't mind killing them. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I've hit 2 pigeons in my life. Okay. I threw an apple at one because it was trying to get my sandwiches, and I told it several times, and it kept coming over, and I bit one bit out of my apple, and I launched it, and it hit the pigeon. I felt great about it. Pigeon flew away and left me alone. And another one flew up in my face, and I swung my fist, and I sort of ended up doing like a bit really camp slap on this pigeon because I realised my fist was about to hit it, and I didn't want to really full-on punch a pigeon, so I opened my palm and did like a camp slap. Like,
he stroked a pigeon.
Get away! So that's my 2 fights with pigeons I've had.
Anyway,
that's enough of Dan's animal cruelty. Back to this. So yes, everything can kill you. They show them the photos. They still don't believe her. They said, look, we don't know the order yet because we're trying to figure out who else was on the roller coaster and who wasn't and where people were sitting. We can't figure out who this person is. So because of some stuff they've done, a chain starts unraveling, something falls off a shelf, a forklift truck starts up on its own. Ooh. And it starts slipping around on some spilt oil. Then a hammer knocks the lever, and Ian gets saved from a falling shelf. But it's a misdirect because the other girl lands on the fucking nail gun, and she gets an amazing death with.
It's pretty good. Just that looks good, but like when I said build up, it wasn't very in your face. It's very subtle, so I didn't like the fact there was not much build up. But that visually, she looks like a fucked up pinhead.
Yeah, and I give that 8.5.
I gave it 6, and I gave that a 5.
Oh, the reason I gave it so high is because it looks so painful because it's not just one and done. It's like 6 or 7 nails to the back of the head coming out the front.
It's too short of kill for me, and it wasn't enough tension.
I really, really, really liked that one.
So no, we've got different likings.
That's fine. We're different likings. So now they say, well, who's next? And Ian's obviously pissed off. That was his girlfriend. So he said, "Oh, maybe because it skipped you, it'll go to somebody else now. So let's all go back to our own houses and chill out." And Wendy talks to her sister, and she realizes, hang on a minute, the person in the roller coaster in the photo was wearing the charm bracelet. That was my sister. So it was my sister that was on the roller coaster. So she's next. Where is my sister? Oh, she's at a sort of a weird cosplay LARPing war thing with the fireworks. Great. Let's go there then. So we're heading there now then. And Kevin says, all right, I'll meet you there. But before you hang up, what's on my photo? And she said, your face looks like it's all sort of burning or on fire. And he goes, yeah. Does it look like there's a firework going off in my face? And obviously there's a huge amount of fireworks at this LARPing event that he's at. So he's thinking fireworks is how I'm going to die. Cut to the event. Ian is stalking Wendy. He's very annoyed that she let his girlfriend die. And he wants to kill her, really. If I kill you, then, why does my girlfriend deserve to die and you don't? And he's sort of doing that whole thing. And the LARPing begins, cutting straight to someone knocks a cannonball. The cannonball rolls down, knocks the firework display over. It faces a slightly different way. The horse gets spooked by the fireworks.
Why would you have a horse where there's fireworks? What fucking dumb ass shit that is.
Dumbass
shit.
Well, it runs, it accidentally catches Julie by the foot, which is Wendy's sister, with a rope, drags her along. Kevin manages to cut the rope with a sword just before she gets dragged into some spikes. But then Perry, who is a girl that we've never met before, is impaled on a flag. I mean, apparently she was there on the ride. She gets impaled on a flag. I didn't bother rating that one, really.
Yeah.
Give it like a 5, really.
Sarah and I both gave it a 5. So we're all actually that's the first one with all same score.
It wasn't that good, but Kevin survives. Some flames explode in his face near the barbecue, and he survives. Runs off, so he didn't die in the way he thought he might. Ian starts chasing Wendy. Some fireworks miss Ian, and he's sort of like, fuck you! And then a cherry picker.
Yeah, never do that. Have they not seen Creepshow 2?
Lands on him, and that's another 8.5 for me. That one, it was a high one.
Sarah and I both gave that an 8. So
yeah, because you think it's going to be the fireworks, and out of nowhere, and it's really good gore.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere as well.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the boy who comes out of the dentist at the end, and then out of nowhere, that pane of glass just splatters him. So yeah, that's a really good kill as well. So some great kills in this one. 5 months later, Gav. I love the ending of this movie. They're on a subway train, and she hears a busker singing the song that's kind of haunted her throughout the film, which is that someone is behind you, someone's following you. And then she sees 180 written on the wall, and she starts feeling the presence of a line. Then she hears the conductor on the train say, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tony Todd. This is the end of the line. Remember to get off the train." You're like, oh, it's Tony Todd's voice. She doesn't know that. She just thinks, oh, there's a creepy voice telling us what platform.
That is the creepiest conductor.
Why is he saying it in that way? Mind the gap.
Fucking hell. Get someone else doing it.
And then she randomly bumps into her sister on this train.
What are you doing here?
She says, oh, that's right. She says, oh, it's okay. Don't worry.
Come meet my friends.
We're all safe. We're all safe as long as Kevin isn't on the train. Oh, Kevin? And he's like, oh, my God, what a coincidence. We're all on the same train.
Weird.
And then we see a rat chew through a cable. The train derails, and everyone gets splat, 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 splatted.
Epic deaths. Epic deaths going on here. Right. Score-wise, what'd you give that?
This last one gets like a... It's hard to see what was happening. There was so much. So I'd probably give it an 8.
Sarah and I are both on 9.
Ooh. It's good.
That's our best scored.
It all happened so quickly.
It does, but some good epic ones when it went on. Yeah.
And then it ends with Wendy on the track.
Of course it does.
And she's like, oh I'm going to get out of here. And then train. And back in the room. And she says, not again. And then, yeah, that's it. It's the end.
Yeah.
Great movie. good sequel. James Wan coming back to the franchise.
Yeah, really good still, yeah.
And I like that they do two things here that they've never done before. The camera, we didn't go into that very much, but when you watch this movie, you realise they're looking at all the photos, they're figuring out, they're using that as a way, but they never came back to that in the franchise. And I really like the ending which is 5 months later, which is quite a long on from a lot of the other movies in the franchise. And that feeling of like, oh shit, my sister and Kevin are all on this train. Ah, for fuck's sake, I thought we'd got away with this.
Yeah.
Love it. So that's Final Destination 3.
Yeah, pretty good movie. I do quite like that film.
Thumbs up, definitely.
Totally. Well, let's just jump straight into it. Let's have a trailer for Final Destination. The Final Destination.
Yes, because it's the last one.
It's part 4, but it's The Final Destination.
It's the last one.
It's the last one, guys. So magically, we're just going to make up a film to review for the next one, because it doesn't exist. All right, check out the trailer.
Hey, how old is this place?
Got me.
We're fine. That's why they built the fence there.
We're all gonna die, all right? There's gonna be a crash.
Have you lost your mind? You saw it before it actually happened. We're alive, and so are a lot of other people.
I keep having these visions. I see how the next person was gonna die.
What do you mean, the next person?
Survivors in the accident.
What if we weren't meant to survive? What's gonna happen to us?
I think we can stop it.
Look out!
The Final Destination from 2009, hour and 22 minutes. Just a little one, this one. Directed by David R. Ellis, who directed the second movie. A horrifying premonition saves a young man and his friends from death during a racetrack accident, but terrible fates await them nonetheless. Nonetheless. Love that word. There we go.
No Tony Todd. I've just gone through all the cast members.
Great arse death in this one.
Arse death?
Yeah. Great arse death.
Okay.
We'll get to it. So it's a bit of a NASCAR track, this one.
It's a nice setup straight away when you saw it. You're like, oh, nice. I don't mind the main sort of protagonist in it. We've actually got a kind of guy who's our person we're kind of following around. He seems likeable enough.
Oh my god, he's the worst actor I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, not the best acting, but
he's a terrible actor.
The thing is, though, it does come down to the director who's watching it and saying, this is the performance I want. And if they put this out, and you go, yeah, that'll do. So.
To be honest with you, most of the people in this film, I'm just going to show my cards now. It's a good film, for a Final Destination movie, but it's my weakest out of the 5, and it's mainly because of the acting. But at the same time, this film is more of a comedy than any of the other ones are. The second one had a lot more comedic elements in it, but this one is definitely leaning more into comedy. So maybe that's what I'm should be thinking about, because it's not a serious film, but I just felt like the acting was terrible in it. But this was the first film where they went to 3D. They thought, I know what people want to see. They want to see blood and guts flying at the screen in 3D.
We had that 3D resurgence for about 3 years, funny enough, didn't we? Really, it's thick and strong they were coming. Oh, my God.
That was my nickname
then,
at school.
Then the TVs came out. The 3D Blu-ray players you could buy. And then, Ben Deadbolt Films, he's got a TV. He says he's got Predator.
He invited you over Predator, didn't he?
Yeah, and I haven't done it yet, so I need to go around and watch Predator around there. But
the fifth one was in 3D as well. So the fourth and fifth Final Destination are in 3D if you want to see them, or if you did want to see them. But yeah, here we go. So we get to meet Hunt, who is a cunt.
It's not a good...
He's not great, is he?
No.
And Nick, the two lads, and their girlfriends Laurie and Janet, and they are at this NASCAR sort of race style thing.
Guy with a Nazi toe.
Yeah, there's some not very nice people here. There's a nasty racist guy who doesn't like George, the security guard, who's a black guy. There's one woman who's described in the credits. Her character name is MILF. She's the tampon mum. She's the tampon mum. We'll come to her in a minute with her little boys and her husband.
Actually called racist, MILF.
Yeah, he's called racist. There's mechanic. They didn't bother naming anyone.
Wife, cowboy.
Yeah. Mechanic's
MILF's
wife.
husband.
Yeah.
MILF's
tampon
husband.
Kids. They're all in it. But yeah, the only characters that really named are George, Hunt, Janet, Nick, and Laurie.
I'm in a movie. In the cinemas this weekend. Oh, nice. What are you doing? You're still acting? Yeah, totally. What are you doing? I'm kind of a background actor, really. I'm not, in it. Okay, what do you play? What character
Milf's
are you?
husband.
Look for it. Milf's husband. Oh, at least you're playing someone's got a hot wife.
My little cousin's in a new horror film. He plays Tampon Kid 2.
I play a racist wife. Racist wife.
I play the cowboy. Someone's called Cowboy because that's the guy that says, "Sorry, ma'am, am I in the way?"
There's one called Girl on Top. What do you play? I'm labelled as Girl on Top.
Girl on Top.
Of what? You have to watch it.
Hello.
Water gun brat.
Yeah. So our four people are here. Nick. Hunt, as I've said, is a word rhymes with his name because he's a bit of a boozer and he's also a bit of a ladies' man, even though he's got a girlfriend, and he's just a bit smarmy and not very nice. And he's got some binoculars that he can drink booze out of. They're not real binoculars, are they?
Oh, and he's smart.
And that guy says, "Hey, can my girl use your binoculars?" And he's like, she's like, "I want a drink too," and she knows what they are. And then they see a mum, the MILF, put tampons in her kids' ears because the noise of the race cars is so loud. And they're like, "Oh, that's so funny." And then there's some cracks in the building appearing. And he's like, "How old is this stadium?" And then there's some oil, some spills, some litter, some blows. And the litter that lands in Nick's lap is like a memorial leaflet that says, "Remembering all the drivers that have died over the years at this racetrack." Fucking hell. And then a car flips, catches fire, people run.
Yep.
A woman is cut. A couple gets cut in half. The racist couple get cut in half by the bonnet.
It's quite an epic thing. When I can imagine the producers like having heart palpitations when they read the script first of all. Like, what do you mean a car track? So it's a little bit CGI here and there.
Yeah.
It kind of spoils it a little bit, but it's quite a big epic thing to try and do with practical though.
An engine block lands on a girl. Someone gets a spike through the mouth. Loads of cars piling up still.
It's all right. It's nothing amazing.
Some kids get crushed under cement. And they're back in the room.
I did score it. Sarah gave it a 4. I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5.
It's nothing amazing.
Now, I must say that this incident is based on a real-life disaster. So just to give you a bit of background, in 1955, Le Mans, which you would have heard of, there was a disaster, a terrible disaster. They're the 24-hour Le Mans endurance race. But there was a multi-car collision, which launched an engine block and the hood of a car and other wreckage into a crowd of spectators, killing 84 people in total. The deaths included spectators being cut in half by the flying hood. So that actually happened in real life in 1955. An engine block crushing about a dozen people as it went straight through the crowd. You imagine the speed.
Fucking hell.
And it just took out like 12 people. And an explosion and a fire, which added to the death toll. They estimate 84 people in total died, not to mention several hundreds more who were injured. That was in 1955. 70 years ago, almost 69 years ago.
Can you imagine the health and safety there was probably lapse?
Oh, it's fuck all. In 55,
we've got this. So what are you going to do to plug the cars meant to people? We've got this stuff called cardboard.
There was still black and white bathrooms back then in parts of America. They weren't looking at health and safety. Yeah. They weren't caring about that at all. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that a lot of those deaths we've just talked about actually happened. They based this incident on that, which is pretty sick, but also not bad. Well done, Final Destination, for getting some of your facts right. So Nick says, oh my God, I just had a premonition, guys. We need to leave. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And he goes, Cowboy's going to sit there. Tampon's going to be in the ears there. Racist guy's going to say this. And he predicts, and they're like, well, how did you know that?
Yeah.
So I've just seen it all. So he leaves, and a few stragglers ended up following him out. And they have a bit of an argument, and the racist guy's like, you people are out of your fucking... No, his girlfriend says, you people are out of your fucking mind. And what happens to her, Gav?
Oh, a tire just out of nowhere just kills her.
Comes flying over because there's a huge explosion.
I quite like that because the racist guy is getting, what are you fucking talking about? I like the fact that right then, well, you can shut up. You've been shut up. Because
Hunt says... well, this is what I'm here for. I'm here for the explosions and the death.
What'd you give the tire?
Oh, 8 out of 10. Because it was really out of nowhere. Shut her up because she was mouthing off. And also unexpected.
Oh.
She deserved it.
Sarah's 5.5 or 6.
Oh, okay. Good gore as well.
Yeah. And credits. Roll.
Oh, I love
3D
these credits. I love. So we cut to some credits, which are like the newer Mortal Kombat games, where when you do like a death blow, it zooms into like an X-ray of the skeleton with a crushing, and the skeleton's breaking and everything, and you get this like heavy metal music playing, and it's pretty epic, pretty sort of NASCAR. I quite like it. It makes me sort of get in the mood. It's one of the few things that made me realise, because this is my weakest out of the franchise, but I like the credits and the metal, and I guess this is where I should realise this is kind of like a bit like the Friday the 13th part 6 of this franchise.
Friday the 16th. That would
Friday
be
the 16th. What happened on Friday the 16th? Bought some bread.
Ran out of milk, went down the shop.
So they go to a cafe called the Death by Caffeine shop. Great. And they're all saying, Nick, what happened? Was it a dream? You know? And he's like, I don't know, I can't explain it.
At this point, it reinforces here to me how important casting is in films. I don't really care about any of these people. Obviously, I'm only one demographic out of many. But I don't care about these people. There's nothing here. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, yeah, well, we all know my feelings about her. But there was other people I care, you know, not cared, but invested in more.
Well, sadly, the one that stands out really is Hunt, played by Nick Zano, the dickhead. He's the one that stands out because he plays it really well. You know,
yeah.
Everyone else is pretty bland.
But he's not supposed to be liked anyway, is he?
No. They ask Nick, you know, was it a dream? Should we go to the memorial? Are we the lucky ones? Why are we the survivors? All the usual stuff that we've seen in the other movies. And of course, they do go to the memorial later on. So for everyone that died at the event, so they go back to the stadium, and there's a few people there crying, and Nick and Laurie are there, and
Did someone say the N-word?
Yeah, well, we'll come to that in a sec. So the tampon one comes up, the MILF comes up to Nick and says, I want to thank you for, you saved my boys and me and my husband by getting us out of there. And he's like, oh, that's all right.
Did she look like a MILF? I don't know, because
it's pretty hot.
Okay. I don't remember.
And then the security guard, George, comes over, who's a black guy, and he says, yeah, I want to thank you as well.
Oh, yeah, so we had a racist.
And then the racist guy, whose girlfriend's head got exploded
shows his
by the
racist
tire.
card.
He just walks over and goes, N-word, walk on and calls them a few other little things as well. And they're like, and Nick quite rightly says, "Whoa, what the hell? Jesus Christ!" I don't know what I'd do if I ever heard someone say it like that outright. I'd just be like, I'd probably take their head off. But they're like, "Sorry about that." And George is like, "Don't worry about it. He's used to it." He's like, "For fuck's sake, another racist redneck." You know, if you're going to be a black guy being a security guard at a fucking NASCAR event, you are going to have, unfortunately, some dickheads saying stuff to you. Nick has some dreams that are in 3D, which I put lol because the graphics, the CGI is weird and terrible, just terrible. When he's having these dreams about spinning things flying at him. And
I don't remember this. I must have just completely phased out of this.
And he wakes up and he goes, "Whoa, I've just had a really strange dream, like a vision of the future." And it's like, oh my God, could you not have done a different take? Get another take. What's the director doing? Really bad. See, I'm not always positive, Gav.
Yeah.
Cut to the racist, because that's his character name, drunk in his pickup truck. He's ticking all the boxes. He might as well have a MAGA hat on as well. But let's not get political.
And have a pig in the back.
Yeah, and he's driving around. They eat your pets. The immigrants, they eat your cats and your dogs. Let's move away from politics. So he's driving around listening to his metal music, drinking beer, just crashing his pickup truck into everything that's around him. And he's like, "I'm going to go to that black guy's house. I'm going to do something terrible to him." And now George, bless him, one of my favourite characters in this film, they couldn't have made him look any more wholesome in this scene if they tried. He's in his pajamas, so he's a security guard, big guy, but he's in his pajamas at home reading a book on his sofa with a glass of milk. He gets a phone call. "Oh, hello, Mum.
Is it Mr. T?
Why are you calling me so late, Mum?" "Okay." And he's been really lovely. His mum's called him for a catch up late at night, and he's reading his book in his pajamas. And outside you can hear the racist sort of smashing along, you know. And then he says, "Time's up." But then loads of different shit happens. The truck sort of, I don't really get it, really. Some oil spills out of the truck. A fire starts. The racist slips on the oil, gets caught by his foot on the truck as it drives on its own. Then he catches fire. And poor old George runs out into the street because he hears all this screaming to see a man being dragged on fire.
But this, though, I was looking at this as in, didn't the Ku Klux Klan wouldn't do so? They'd drag people along by horses.
They did do that, yeah. No, they did it by cars as well.
Yeah. And I thought it was a play on that. And
it was.
I quite liked the way they did that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
But for Death, what'd you give that, Death?
I only gave it a 4 out of 10.
Sarah gave it a 5 and I gave it a 6, but I gave it a 6 because of the fact I liked that transition.
It was a
white
flip
guy being pulled.
Yeah, it was definitely that.
So I scored 4 for the racist getting it for being racist.
Yeah, and George has seen it, so he's really now he's in the club now of okay. Maybe
I'm in Deaf Club.
Nick. Maybe I believe Nick.
Can I be in Deaf Club?
So Laurie and Nick see the news. A racist man was dragged behind his own pickup truck today. And he says, "I dreamed about that. I dreamed about a hook and a pickup truck and a racist. I dreamed about... Oh, did you? Your acting's great." So he has another vision with more clues. And she comes in and she says, "Well, how do you know it when you..." And he says, "Because when the death is coming, I feel a presence." It's terrible acting. It's so bad. It really took me out of it, his acting.
Well, this film just doesn't pull me in like the other 3 films before. 1, 2 and 3. This is the weakest so far.
Cut to the tampon kids. The kids who survived.
Oh, yeah, a beauty clinic.
And they're throwing stones at a guy who's trying to fix his lawnmower. And he's like, "What are you, dumbass?
Okay, yeah.
Stupid kids."
Yep.
Yes, and their mum's like, "Well, here's some money. Fuck off down the amusement arcade for an hour and let me get my hair done because I'm going out with the girls tonight." And they're like, "Great!" And she gives them like $100 and they're like, "Whoop, whoop." And they run off. And she walks in and they're like, "Well, look, your beauty, whatever your guy is not here. She's like, but I really need my hair and my nails done because I'm going out with the girls tonight. All right then, and cut to close-ups of a million things that could kill you in a beauty salon. Scissors, nails being scraped, a wobbly fan above your head, lotion being spilt. Loads of stuff, and this is a good death because this is like very much like the dentist from Final Destination 2. There's so many things, and you're sort of stuck in a chair, and there's so many things around you that you're like worried about. Yeah. Just like in Final Destination 2. Even the lawnmower outside, you're thinking, is it going to be that? Is the stone going to get caught in the, what's it going to be? And the fan falls off the ceiling. But it misses everyone. The kids slip on the spilt drink and the spilt lotion. And then it's a blue balls death because we've been built up and built up and built up and built up. And then the mum turns around and she says, I've got my eye on you two. And then the lawnmower flicks a stone up in the air, straight in her eye and at the back of her head. Boom, she's done and dead.
Yeah.
But I only gave it a 5 out of 10.
Just so interesting. Sarah gave it a 6, which I thought was interesting, and I gave it a 4. So between us, we've got the whole range there, 4, 5 and 6.
And the reason for that was the build-up was better than the execution, in my opinion. It was a really good build-up, and then it's just like,
it was all right. It just didn't do it for me.
If her head had exploded a bit more, I'd have been like, yeah. And I was really hoping the kids would get killed in some way.
Lovely. So then we cut back to our unappealing protagonists, who I don't care about. I have no interest. I'm waiting for them to get killed.
And they say, well, did you hear that Mrs. Milf has died as well now? So that's what she's called. And Nick says, I've been having visions.
Of a bucket or something.
And they're like, whoa, what are your visions? And he tells them about Flight 180. Then he talks about Final Destination 2. And then he says that people got off the freeway, and he says, there was also a roller coaster incident, all this kind of stuff. Tensions get very high. And Hunt says, well, fuck this. If we're all going to die, then I'm going to die doing what I love. Getting laid. See you later, motherfuckers. And he just jets off out there to go and get laid and get party and get drunk.
Fair enough.
Even his girlfriend pined. So Nick and Laurie go to the racetrack and he says, I need to remember the order of the death, the people that died. And George is there, the security guard, and he says, don't worry about that, mate. I've got the CCTV of it. Oh, come and have a look at this. And they're like, fucking hell, you've got the whole thing on CCTV, George. He's like, yeah, let's rewind it and watch it. So they watch all the different deaths unfold. Surely the police would have that videotape. Yeah. George has just got it. He's got access to it. And they work out that the mechanic is next. Oh, we forgot about the mechanic. Who's the mechanic? Don't know. He's just credited as mechanic. All right, let's go visit him then. And the mechanic works in a Pimp My Ride garage, doesn't he?
Yeah. With exhibit.
Lots of danger there. Sparks flying, dangerous machinery and hydraulics and gasoline and all this other kind of stuff. They literally turn up and go, you're going to die next. He's like, what the fuck? I'm trying to get on with my life. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, you're going to die. And his boss says, you need to get these guys out of here. There's a lot of dangerous machinery in here. Get them out. And he's like, all right. Takes them outside. And they said, look, this is what's going to happen. You're going to die. We've lost these people, and it's the order of the deaths that happened, in my vision. And then a van comes flying at him and almost crushes him. Doesn't, and he says, "You see what I mean? I'm cheating death, baby. I'm cheating death." But then a spanner hits a gas canister, which comes flying out of the garage. And basically, cheese grates him through the fence, the wire fence.
With 3D, that probably looked excellent.
Yeah, it's good that one.
Sarah and I both gave it a 5.5.
Oh, 7.
Okay.
7 for me.
Fair enough.
Because I like a good cheese grater death.
Do you like the Resident Evil one at the beginning?
Yeah, I do. It's good. I've never seen that before, and I quite like that.
Yeah.
And that happens in another Final Destination, I think, where someone gets cheese grated. Potentially. Anyway, they discuss who's next. Is it Hunt or is it Janet? We need to figure it out. One of us get hold of Janet and the other one get hold of Hunt. Now, Hunt is at a swimming pool.
Such a twat.
having sex with a lady. And Janet has gone to a dry cleaner. A pigeon shits on her windscreen. So she's like, for God's sake, I'll have to go and get my windscreen washed.
Just get out of the car and get a cloth and wipe it off yourself, you fucking idiot.
It's a lot of poo from one pigeon, isn't it?
It is a bit, but
it's like a human turd.
Don't need to go car wash. Come on.
So they try calling her, and she's not picking up her phone because she's driving.
Human hybrid pigeon flew by, did a big white poo.
The Mothman. It was the Mothman.
It's the Pigeon Man.
And there's a good callback here where Nick looks to his right when he's in the car and he sees Clear Rivers water supply. And Clear Rivers was the character from Final Destination 1 and 2, who ended up locking herself up in the mental asylum in the second one. So, played by Ali Larter. So that's a good callback. But something in that triggers him and he thinks it's going to be water that kills them. They're both going to die by water. Oh my God, we need to go and do something. So Hunt has a bit of a spat with a kid who squirts him with a water gun at the swimming pool. He bursts the kid's lido and hides the water pistol. But that triggers some unfortunate events because the pool drain turns on.
Oh, see, this is super yucky. And go on, carry on.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to that because we go to Janet then. Yeah, we're juggling two deaths at once.
I did like the fact that this is the first time, actually, editing-wise, in all the films, that they're juxtapositioning or cutting between two kills and building up to two. First time editing-wise they've done this.
And because he's had a vision that it's water and one's at a swimming pool, one's at a car wash, you're like, well, is it going to be both of them or is it going to be one of them? So it's actually very good. Yeah. Probably the best moment of the film, really.
It's good. They can go either ways and misdirect us quite easily. Or go for both, so it's quite good.
George and Laurie go to find Janet in the car wash.
It's good for pacing anyway.
There's some faulty bits and bobs in the car wash, sparks fly. She gets trapped. Her bloody sunroof opens and the car starts filling up with water.
This is just ridiculous. And her head gets stuck. It's the most dumbest fucking thing ever as well.
But they showed you that her sunroof was broken earlier.
Yeah, so her head gets stuck out of it, but it's still filling up with water like she's having a fucking bubble bath.
But she's heading towards one of those like really strong brushes that's probably going to take her face off.
I know. Well, I was looking at this car as well. I was like, what car is this? And there's no make or model. I think they had that car specially made.
Yeah, they wouldn't, like Nissan or whoever would be like, I don't want to be.
Yeah.
That's not us.
No, so there's no badge in it or nothing. Not at all. It's really odd.
So she's, picture it if you will, ladies and gentlemen, it's essentially a car with a woman's head on the top.
Just, go along.
Full of water, about to get her face.
It's really silly.
Scraped off. Then cut back to Hunt, who gets hit with a golf ball and it drops his lucky coin.
Earlier on he's a cunt and took a kid's water gun, just put it in the bin. So this is like his karma for being a cunt.
But he drops his lucky coin and it rolls into the swimming pool, gets sucked into the drain. So he goes down to retrieve it, and his butt gets stuck to the drain. Now this is an urban legend where we've heard of people getting stuck to the drains. You know,
I never saw this one in Urban Legend, the movie, but yeah,
you know what I mean.
But it should have been.
Yeah, and. Yeah, his butt gets stuck to the train. So now we've got him stuck underwater, potentially drowning, with his butthole stuck to a drain, sucking him in.
And her head stuck out a fucking car full of water.
Yeah.
But it's so silly.
Laurie and George, they crash into her car and they push it backwards.
Like the car's electrics would fail if it's totally full of water. It would just, admittedly the sunroof would definitely stop, but the car should probably just... not work.
But it's on the
it's on the pulley track
conveyor belt. Yeah. Well, they save her anyway, so she's away. But we cut back to Hunt, you see his back suddenly crush.
Oh God!
And he gets sucked inside out.
I couldn't look. I had to look away. It's too gross for me.
And then you see the drainage machine outside on the top of the swimming pool. The fountain of blood comes out.
This is like whatever that thing was. I've put it out of my mind now. You made me for live. Watch yucky thing, wasn't it? I don't remember what it is. Don't remind me.
Okay.
Some World of Strange thing. I forgot what it was. I hope everybody watched the video.
It was the guy with his grandma.
Oh yeah.
And he kissed her at the end.
I hope everybody watched along of that to get my feelings.
So Hunt basically is sucked inside out into the drain and comes splattered out. And the last thing you see in amongst all the splat is his coin drop on the ground. Now,
okay, what'd you give it?
Now, this is an amazing death, but I only give it an 8. And the reason why it would have got so much higher is if they'd gone down the Alien Resurrection route, where you saw him, in Alien Resurrection, when it gets sucked into the window and you see it go.
No, I don't remember that film.
Yeah, you do. Alien Resurrection at the end when the baby alien hybrid thing gets sucked into the. What the hell? We covered it. Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
come on.
I put it out of my mind.
What on earth? Well, anyway, if you'd have seen more of him getting sucked into the drain, this would have easily been the best death in the whole franchise. But because you just see a little bit of his back get sort of sucked in, it's still an 8 out of 10 though, because this one is an awful way to go with your butt stuck to. And also, it's a callback to number 3 where the guy says, "It's not going to be anything to do with my butt, is it?" Well, in this one, somebody does get a butt death.
Sarah gave it 7.5, and I gave it a 5 because it's too it's too yucky for me.
Oh, you should score it higher then if you.
No, yeah, if it's score and watches horror, and it is horrific for me. But no, I didn't watch most of it because I looked away because it's too yucky. I don't like it.
Well, I thought it was brilliant.
I don't know my bumhole being things pulled
Sucked
out of
inside
it.
out.
I was thinking, this is what made me start thinking about horror. Is there a different reason some people like horror movies for a certain reason? Because they've had things that happen to them, or it's their most fears, I suppose,
And that's how I've rated some of these, For me, that's a
what
fear.
you were saying earlier, isn't it? It's psychology in it.
Even when I take my kids swimming on the weekend, when I go past the drain, I always think, what would happen if my hand got stuck in here,
Now, we cut to a really funny bit. Now, for me, this just made my little mind tickle with laughter as I went off in a little world, imagining a scenario where George, they go around to see George, and he's been trying to hang himself and he can't. I wet myself at this point.
Yeah, this is like Groundhog Day, isn't it?
It's like, do you now cut to the montage of
it starts
George
off
all day long trying to top himself, all these different scenarios.
Well, it starts off quite dark because they get to George's house and he's hanging from the rafters, and you think, oh no, George, what are you doing? And he's like, because earlier you found out, he killed his wife and kid in a drunk driving accident, I think it was, and so he's always feeling terrible about that, and I haven't got anything to live for. And then they're getting down, and he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've been trying to kill myself all day. What do you mean? And he says, well, I've tried everything. I took loads of pills, I threw them up, I put the hose pipe in the car, and the car cut out. I just can't kill myself. He just can't do it.
I just want to see that montage.
Or even with the music from Curb Your Enthusiasm, every time he tries something, boom, boom, boom. So he says, I've been trying to kill myself all day. Nothing works. And so maybe saving Janet has destroyed the list. Am I immune? Am I able to live forever now? And he says, maybe we should have a toast. Toast to life. So he gets out some apple cider and they all have a nice toast. We're all going to live forever. We're invincible.
Go and buy some fucking fancy booze if you're toasting to life. Come
on. Nikki and Laurie say, well, we're going to go on holiday now. Let's pack for our holiday.
Yeah.
Laurie says, well, I'll just pop to the cinema with Janet and do some shopping as well.
And says we're going to probably watch a chick flicks in 3D. I was thinking, a chick flick in 3D?
In 3D? I was thinking that. Come on.
What is that going to entail? Let's go shopping. I thought in 3D. Why? What's the point?
I don't know what a chick flick would be in 3D. How would you do it?
I don't know. Trying to get that boy. Oh, I'm going to get him to be my boyfriend in 3D.
It's right in my face, it is. Ooh.
Really shit.
Ryan Reynolds' buttocks in my face. So I was just saying that out loud.
Yep.
Nick has another quite from my notes. Let me read them to you. At this point, Nick has another quite frankly ridiculous and 3D vision. It's really bad. You must remember his vision here, where it's like a screensaver from a Windows 98 PC. These things spinning around, and he's like, "Oh, another vision!" and then he hears on the TV, and this is a great spanner in the works, and they haven't done this before in the movies. ladies and gentlemen, there was another survivor from that terrible car, incident. It was the cowboy. No one knows his name. The cowboy. He's in hospital, and they're like, "Oh, that's why we can't die, because there's somebody else on the list. The cowboy. He's in an intensive care unit. So let's go see him in the hospital."
This fucking inept orderly.
Well, there's a poor old fella who's on a bath
He's
hoist.
got racist as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he is. We killed your kind in Vietnam. I'm Chinese. Same difference. Oh, nice.
That's so fucking small-minded, isn't it?
I'm trying to help you.
So small-minded.
cunt.
Unfortunately, this happens.
He lifts him up in a bath hoist, though, and leaves him there.
Puts him in this bath on a winch, and then also says, "Oh, I'll go do that." Just runs off. Doesn't think like the fact that maybe turn them taps off, and this old guy's just sitting there going, "Hey,
it's flooding." And the bath is overflowing, and it's like probably
it's
a ton
so
of
funny.
water.
It's such a funny death.
And it starts dripping down through the floor, and the room below has got the cowboy in it.
Another fact, in writing, they just had old guy that, and they said, you need to make a reason why this old guy is going to probably die as well, because, I
don't think he dies, though. I think you just see him
doesn't,
there.
but I think it's just got a reason that he's not very nice. Let's just get him in there and give him a racist line. Let's write
He's
that
got to
in.
be called Old Racist or something. I can't even see him listed, but he must have a credit of Old Racist or something like that.
I'll have a look.
Bedman or something like that he'll be. But yeah, the water drips down onto the cowboy's face, which wakes him up a bit, but also makes him slip out of the bed. And then I've written here then the most ridiculous moment of the film. I'll wait till you've looked him up.
No, I can hear you. Keep going.
Okay, so the most ridiculous moment of the film now is when Nick and the remaining survivors are in the lift.
Yep.
With complete strangers.
What score did you give the?
Well, we haven't done it yet.
You haven't got it. Sorry, apologies.
So this is my biggest gripe of the film. Nick and whoever else is in the lift, and there's all these doctors and strangers in front of them in the lift. They can hear every word they're saying because they're in a fucking lift. Yeah. And Nick says, "We have to get to him because he's next on death's list." And they're like, "Oh my God, we need to save him because if we don't save him, then Janet did it." And they're like describing the plot of the film.
Is it supposed to be made of humour for the other people in the lift to be like, "What's this?" Is that supposed to be then like comical?
But none of them, they just all ignore it, like they can't hear it.
It's weird.
Ridiculous fucking moment. No one bats an eye.
It's not a good film, this one.
Anyway, the bath crashes through as they open the door. They're like, "Hey, cowboy!" And then the bath just crashes down and absolutely annihilates him.
It does.
2 out of 10.
Oh, Sarah and I both give it a 6.
Don't see anything. Don't see any blood.
Don't know.
You knew what was happening. You could see it coming a mile off. 2 out of 10.
All right.
Awful. Janet and Laurie are shopping. And Laurie sees some signs. Oh, there's a crane. There's some men working. Oh, I'm feeling that funny feeling again. Outside, George is running along and he says, "Oh, got that weird feeling that my wife says about." And Nick says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Deja vu. You know, my wife says, when you've had deja..." Ambulance takes him out. 7 out of 10. Love it.
Oh, me and Sarah both on a 2. 2 out of 10.
It was like the bus from number 1.
Yeah, it's just
came out of nowhere. And because he was describing deja vu as well.
Okay.
Which the line apparently was going to be, my wife always used to say, because she's dead, if you have deja vu, that means you're in the right place at the right time. But he didn't get to finish the line because the ambulance just took him out. And he gets killed again later on.
We got such contrasting scores.
That's cool, though. That's cool. Have a look. Then we get a weird moment now. And this is why this film doesn't really work, because this construction site isn't really anything to do with them. It's just for convenience of the plot, really. But there's this construction site, basically, where these guys are, like, working behind the cinema where the girls are going to end up. And there's a few little sparks and embers.
It's got a good setup.
Yeah, but it's also nothing to do with... It's not like they're in the Home Depot store or... Yeah. You know, it's just for the sake of moving the plot along. It doesn't... I do have my gripes with this film, really. But anyway, there's a great red herring where her lace gets stuck in the escalator, and you think...
Colourful fish.
Yeah. colourful fish. You think, oh, she's going to get pulled into the escalator, but she doesn't. She manages to pull it out. Then they go in the cinema and they watch that movie in 3D. And there's a great moment on there where there's a bomb in the movie that they're watching, and he says, 3, 2, 1, time's out, suckers, or something like that, and then the bomb explodes. And what they don't realise is behind them is an actual explosion. And just before that happens, Laurie hears all the similar dialogue that they heard at the racetrack, like, oh, it's a bit loud, or can you move your foot, please, and this, that, and the other. So she hears the same dialogue that they heard by other people, and she realizes, oh shit, something's about to go down.
Oh shit.
And the explosion happens, but then a real explosion happens which goes through the screen and kills Laurie. She is impaled in the face with nails and gets a big hole through her stomach. I give that a 6 out of 10 because it's like a double kill, really.
Sarah and I both gave it a 6.
Oh, perfect. 666. Nice.
We all gave it a 666, so it's nice to have that. I like the fact that if they're watching a 3D movie and all of a sudden they actually came out of the screen and killed, it'd be quite fun.
Yeah.
Only for a few seconds until you realise, oh, this isn't 3D.
Those nails look really good. I feel like I really feel the pain of the impaling.
Your brain would be really tricked and confused. We've got a shopping centre next.
It's a bit like when you and me went to watch the Ghostbusters 2018 movie and we were in those chairs that move in the cinema. We had those wobble chairs.
Why did we get them?
Because they were the only seats we could get.
God, is that...
And we were just like wiggling around now and again when the really bad jokes were being said.
No point. Like, I can't believe we went to cinema. I can't believe we gave that guy money to make the movie.
5D or whatever it was.
His new movie, Paul Fig, I think it is with that John Cena on Amazon Prime, and the trailer looks awful. And it's like the trailer doesn't explain what this is.
I saw something in the
movie, and I was like, oh, you made that Ghostbusters movie.
I saw something today that said,
how does he make movies if no one likes him?
Someone today said, I like John Cena, but I've just seen his new film, that one you're just talking about. Yeah. And I do wonder how he keeps getting work in films, because he's not a very good actor.
Yeah, well, it again comes down to direction, but it's that director.
I think he's all right in some roles.
Again, it's Hollywood not knowing what the fuck they're doing.
After she's impaled, the shopping centre, the shopping mall starts exploding and collapsing, and Laurie is in fact sucked into an escalator.
Fucking 7.5 for Sarah, 6.5 for me.
9 for me. This is the best
It was a good
kill.
one. It was really cool.
Because
I think Scott was good to you, but
one of my biggest fears is, will I get trapped in an escalator? And I'll tell you why that is.
Okay.
At school, we had a policeman come in and show us a video of horrific injuries.
Oh, God.
And one of them was someone who'd got their legs stuck and ripped off in an escalator, just like this.
And before that, were you scared of escalators until they showed you it?
Until they showed me
basically, the police came in and scared you into being scared of things.
They also then showed us what can happen if you play on train tracks, and they showed us bodies on train tracks that have been cut up.
What was all this proving?
To scare us off of train tracks and escalators.
What? Scare you off escalators in a shopping centre? That's the way you got to go up and down.
Remember the rules on them, at least. But yeah,
what a bunch of cunts.
What's great about this is half the escalator is broken, so she's falling into all the sort of, like when you see those TikTok videos of like a giant, what do you call it? A grinder where you put like industrial like metal in it and it just crushes it up. And it's one of those, and she just goes in there.
Then we fucking wake up and it's a guy with a premonition, and then he rushes to the cinema and puts out the fire, and it's like, oh, what?
But he comes to just as George gets splattered. So poor George gets killed yet again by the ambulance. So quite like that. But yeah, you're right. He goes in, he puts the fire out.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But then he gets his arm nailed to the wall by a freak.
He does. So he's trying to put the fire out, and all of a sudden the death's going, you're not going to intercept this. I shall stop you.
So he sets up a sprinkler.
So he's stuck with nail guns stuck him to the wall, basically. And not to kill him, just like...
Just keep him away.
Yeah, take him
But
away.
he manages to use a very long stick on fire to set off the sprinkler, which puts out all the fires. And then we cut to the end where Nick is bandaged up and he goes for a coffee with the two girls. And a homeless man from earlier says, hey, this is another ridiculous moment. Hey, I know you. You're that guy that saved everybody in the shopping centre.
Yeah.
And they're like, what has that got to do with anything? And then they sit in the window seat And then Nick feels the presence, sees a couple of signs, and outside some scaffolding falls, which makes a huge truck swerve. And we're watching this in 3D, so
we're cut to CSI deaths.
Big truck comes flying in.
But it all goes to like a CSI. Have you ever watched CSI?
Or Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
like
okay.
the Mortal Kombat films.
The deaths?
Video games.
Yeah.
Because we see them all die, but in 3D X-ray
what
CGI.
a load of shit.
And that's the end credits.
What do you give that one? I give it. I don't know. I can't remember what we gave that.
Probably a 5. It's slap bang in the middle. No. Like a 3. I gave it a 3. Sorry. Because even though you got 3 for the price of 1, it was.
So I gave it a 3, and I gave it a 2.
I give it a 3. Overall, I actually would say. I'm going to say this, unless you're a completist, this is a thumbs down, this film.
Yeah, it's not very good.
I don't say it very often, but
you don't.
Unless you're a completist, it's not worth watching. The other 4 movies in the franchise are great, and this one just isn't.
Yeah, even the next one's fun.
Oh my god, the next one! Whew.
It's
Can't
good.
wait to talk about it.
Well, speaking of which, let's hop out of here and have a trailer for the next one.
All right then.
Let's do it.
Don't fear the Reaper.
I'm trying to get all the pieces of the puzzle together.
It says right here in the statement, I knew it would happen.
I had a vision.
We knew to warn everyone the bridge was going to collapse.
Everybody off the bus!
And minutes later, it did. I'll tell you what I believe. There's an answer for everything.
Authorities are calling the bridge collapse a freak act of nature.
It's natural causes?
Yeah, more like supernatural.
Death doesn't like to be cheated.
I've seen this before. A lucky few survive the disaster, and then one by one, death comes for them all.
Are you saying we can't stop this?
You're not supposed to be here, so let death have somebody else in your place.
Wait a minute, we kill someone, we get their life?
When we're done, you'll have perfect vision. I'll be right back.
Final Destination 5. They lied to us. They lied to us, guys.
Ooh, they're back again.
2011, 1 hour and 32 minutes. Death returns to claim the lucky survivors of a deadly bridge collapse in this 5th frightening installment in the series. Directed by Stephen Quayle. First time to this series. And it's got a few people in this you might know from The American Office or Anchorman, and a few other people in it that have been in bits and bobs. This is, after the last movie, this is a real return to form for the franchise for several reasons. There's some good comedy in it that works very well. It feels like it knows what it is now, this franchise.
And what the audience wants and what it needs to do also to facilitate that. It's good casting.
It's good casting, definitely. Some good acting.
Yeah.
A fucking incredible opening sequence, that must have, it's the longest one, it's 4.5 minutes long.
Directed fine,
The effects are great for the bridge scene. And spoiler, as we always tell you, but this has got a fantastic twist. When you get to the end of it, you realise this was all set before the original Final Destination.
I had forgotten all about this,
and
I got to it, I was like, what?
Good. And if you watch it knowing that, and you think, no one's using any modern phones or internet, and you can see they've all got older computers and TVs, etc. And even the fact they talk about like older, at one point somebody says, "I see dead people." Well, that movie's only just come out. That's why they're quoting it, and she says, "Oh, these glasses make you look like Lisa Loeb," who was popular in the charts at the time when Final Destination 1 had come out. So they do a really great job of tying it all back around.
Yeah, I didn't know.
The end scene blows you away.
So you're saying like through the movie they're hinting towards the fact it's set in the Final Destination land, first one.
Indeed.
Because that's a really interesting thing. It's not like it's a precursor or anything. It's actually set in the same universe at a different plane.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I love it. So let's crack into this.
Get into it. Let's do it.
So we start with more skull credits, and again we feel like this is the confidence is back in this one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even from the credits, and we get callbacks to the previous 4 films. We get like roller coasters and nail guns and all these things. So it's like, hey,
Tony
reminding
Todd's
you,
actually physically in this film.
He is. And he looks great. He still looks great, doesn't he? He's just this quite big, imposing guy. And when he turns around and he's got coroner written on his back, that's all you need. You're like, ooh. He also delivers an incredible line, which we'll get to. And we are having breakfast outside of people waiting outside their offices. They've set up a big breakfast table.
See, here, straight away, we knows a director that knows what they're doing, because they're setting up this, even in the script writing, but they're setting up all the characters in this long car park opening, because you're like, what's going on here? But I quite like the fact they're going through all the different characters and what they're going for, and it reminds me of Severance, because they're going on a work do.
They're going on a retreat.
Yeah.
We've got budget Tom Cruise, Peter, who looks like basically Tom Cruise double. We've got Sam, we've got Nathan, Molly, Candice, Olivia, Isaac the pervert, Dennis the boss. And what I love about this film as well is, and the other movies haven't done this, we've got the detective on the case, Agent Block, who's always one step behind trying to figure out.
No, when we get to him, I've got words to say. The boss, Dennis, that's the bald dude from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Anchorman as well.
And I really like Hot Tub Time Machine. That's come up in my books.
I really like Anchorman.
Yeah, I need to watch it again. I've seen it maybe once. So.
He plays Champ Kind Sports.
Okay.
He's like a real pervy sports guy. But yeah, he's good in this as the horrible boss, essentially.
But like I said earlier, at this point we feel like you're in safe hands. I think the director actually cares about the characters and cares about the fact that he wants, or they, but is it he, wants us to like or dislike the characters, which is quite nice. It makes us go, oh, it's a proper film.
So what we get really is...
Even though we want the kills, that goes against what I said earlier, we are here for the kills, it is nice to have a little bit of character once.
So we get a typical office sort of setting, really. These guys, you've got Sam and Molly that are a couple, but they're kind of breaking up. You've got Peter, who's having a bit of an affair with Candice, but because he's going to be the boss soon, he doesn't really want everyone to know about it. You've got Nathan, who's a young black lad in front of all the guys in the factory who seem to be slightly racist. They certainly don't like the fact that a younger lad is ruling over them. And then you've got a couple of other characters, and they're including Pervy Isaac, who thinks he's a ladies' man, but he's certainly not. And he's sort of always on the phone to girls, and he ends up in a massage parlor later on. It's brilliant. So so we've got a bunch of guys, and they all get on the bus. There's a corporate video playing, and it's basically like you said, it's like Severance. Yeah, it's a corporate team building weekend, a retreat. And the bridge looms into view, and their bus drives onto the bridge, and we get the usual tense Final Destination music. I must say that there is a motif with the music on all the Final Destination movies, which they do keep up, all 5 of them, and I do like the music from Final Destination. Sam is our guy, and he feels the dread.
I guess if any connection to all the movies then is the score, which obviously is a thing you need in like slasher films and stuff.
Yeah. We get a close-up of small things happening, little, that doesn't quite work, or the screw for this, or the hinge, little mishaps.
Yeah, trucks going by makes you feel like the second one,
Yeah. There is a truck, actually, isn't there, at some point? Yeah, just like it. And then we see some cracks appearing in the concrete. Well, that's not good, because this is a bridge.
I think they're really playing into what everyone's like from the previous films.
Yeah.
It's simple. Why not?
And Sam says, something's going wrong here. Let's get off the bus. Things are cracking. Oh, my God. One of the girls falls off the bridge.
This is so good. This whole thing, from now on, the movie itself, I'm sitting there going, I wish I'd seen this in the cinema. I was happy as anything. The CGI and stuff looks incredible as this bridge collapsed, but go for it, Dan. Tell what happens.
Yes, I mean, like I said...
I gave this a 9. I'm just throwing it out there right now. So I gave it 8.5. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to get a 9 from me.
Great.
And the reason for that is, as I mentioned earlier...
One of the best.
As I mentioned earlier, it's the longest out of the 5 movies. It's 4.5 minutes long.
Great build-up.
It looks
I like
good.
the people.
It looks good.
Yep.
Each individual death is pretty brutal.
I kind of care if they're actually going to make it or not,
And it's a bridge collapse, which is a very real thing that happens
recently.
Yeah, exactly. So, as the bridge collapses, one of the girls falls off, lands on the sail of a boat, and again, 3D, so that would have, that's good. But it goes straight through her. Isaac is crushed. He remains in the bus, and as the bus falls down into the water, he falls to the front windscreen. He would have been crushed by the pressure of the water hitting the bus, so he's crushed. Sam and Molly run away, and there's a bit of a gap as the bridge, more and more of the bridge collapses and widens. Molly manages to tightrope across a little metal beam, and she makes it. Olivia can't see without her glasses, so she tries her best to get across, but she falls, lands in the water, and a red car just falls off and lands on her and crushes her. I believe it's the red car from Final Destination that the guy who won the lottery buys. It looks like it anyway. It might not be, but it looks like it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And then some cables snap, some tarmac spills onto the boss, so he gets coated in tarmac, which burns obviously all his skin away, and then he falls into the water as well. Sam and Peter manage to make it across. Nathan gets sort of smashed by a cable and sort of cut into pieces, and then some rebars flip across and kebab Peter, so he gets loads of metal rebars sticking into him. Sam is sliced in half, and we're back in the room.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was a 9 out of 10.
Absolutely.
That is up there with the part 2's.
That's great.
Yeah. Really good.
We're back in safe hands.
So he's on the bus. Whoa, guys. I've got a really bad vibe. I've just had a weird vision. I think we all need to get off the bus. What do you mean? The bridge is going to collapse. What are you talking about? The bridge is going to collapse. And the bridge starts collapsing. So they all get off the bus. They watch the whole thing from afar because they're all off the bridge now. And they see the whole thing collapse. And this is where I love this element now. And I know you've got a problem with him, which you're going to tell us in a minute. But I do love the fact that the FBI, this agent, is like, someone said he predicted this. Is this guy a terrorist? Because this could have been a terrorist attack.
My problem with this is, what stupid fucking line of questioning. Go and actually be a detective. Like, if you got to just look at all the people who are going to know what's happened structurally with that bridge and go, well, this is obviously what's happened here. At no point has any terrorist action gone on. And why would he think this kid? Look at the kid's background. Has he got any fucking terrorist links? What stupid ass fucking... Doing it again. Stupid fucking every time you come on, you're like, fuck off, jog on, you fucking dickhead. Why are you asking such stupid questions?
Well, it adds an extra element of tension because they question everybody, and they say to Sam, so you were overheard saying you had a vision and you knew that this was going to happen.
What a waste of time. Why bother even questioning him?
And then they question his friends. Does your friend have any extremist views or any terror?
How's that going to help with him, a premonition of being a terrorist? What is that connection? It's fucking ridiculous.
But then before they can question anyone else, they say, Detective Block. Agent Block. Basically the lab reports have come back, and it was essentially a combination of high winds and construction damage.
Yeah, see? The specialists have told you what's happened. Yeah. Before then, he even asked the guy's girlfriend, what was he like or ex-girlfriend, what was he like when he broke up with you?
Is he violent, man? He's going to collapse a bridge because they broke up?
Did he? I'm going to go collapse a bridge.
How would you collapse a bridge? Yeah, even a terrorist would have a hard time collapsing a bridge without some explosions, at least.
Yeah. So it's just really annoying.
The only person I knew that could do that is the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk could collapse a bridge. I don't know any other person that could do it.
Exactly. This is the only problem I've got with this film. Is this? They could have been a little bit more intelligent here and written this for a little bit more of a reasoning without this going on. There could have been some other things going on here.
But I read this as a comedic element personally, and it might not be.
It's played totally serious. It was funny to me. Yeah, because it's shit.
They do say on the TV, and everybody is sad to say that this bridge collapse was nothing more than an act of God, an act of nature. So that's kind of...
No, it's the premonition terrorist in it again at large.
The premonition terrorist.
At large.
That's a good album name there. So... funeral for the co-workers, because almost everybody that worked at this paper company has been wiped out.
Yeah,
there's literally about 6 or 7 of them left.
By the way, we've got a few openings that have come up.
So there's 8 survivors left.
Tony Todd's there.
7 or 8 survivors left. Yes, that's right. Well, before we get to that, the survivors all sort of gather at the funeral, and they're all a bit suspicious of Sam in different ways. And the boss gives a eulogy. I do like the fact he says, I'll just name some of those people that are deceased. Isaac. And Isaac's like, I didn't die. I'm still here.
See, that's actually pretty fucking good.
And it keeps coming up later on. They're like, oh, poor old Isaac died. And he's like, no, he stood over there. He's the guy in IT.
Oh, that's weird, but I quite like the fact that this dude just got it wrong and just got said, oh, I'm still here.
But then when he says that, they all look at him and they go, I see dead people. So they do quote Sixth Sense, which would have been in the cinemas when this was out, which is another clue. So he's great. Yeah, Tony Todd is there, and then he says to them, by the way, death won't be cheated. And they all look at him like, what the fuck? What are you on about? And he says, all I'm saying is, be careful. Okay, great. I love it. Just turn up, say something scary and fuck off. Love it. And Sam works in a kitchen as a chef. Oh boy. There's a lot of sharp things in a kitchen, Gav.
Yeah.
He walks home and he goes to visit Molly, his ex-girlfriend, because they've broken up by now. And he gets to her apartment. He says, I'm getting some weird vibes in this apartment. But I need to tell you something. I'm thinking about moving to Paris and taking this French apprenticeship.
Oh, and now we know the ending. Yeah,
because Paris is where the school are going.
It's a twist.
He says, I think I'm going to take the apprenticeship. She's like, well, that's great. And he's like, do you think you'd want to come? They don't really talk much more about it. Cut 2. So this is a few weeks later, obviously. Candice is at a sports hall, gymnasium, where she does her gymnastics.
This is great.
Fucking hell.
The tension with the pin on the beam is so bad.
Should we go through it?
Yeah.
Okay, so she is one of these on a beam gymnastics who I admire these women. It's mainly women that do this incredible back flips and front flips and spins all on like a 6-inch wide beam. I don't know how they do it, but she does all this. Obviously, though, as she's getting ready, we've got close-ups, as we do with Final Destination movies, of lots of things going wrong. The air conditioning's dripping. It's a bit broken. There's a worn cable. There's a pin that falls down.
The health and safety nowadays, there's absolutely no way in fucking hell that lead, which is broke like that, would be allowed anywhere near anything.
I don't know if you noticed that the plug was worn away in such a way that it looked like a skull.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was cool, like a skull's head. And she's got these lucky rubber bands that she always carries, and one of them snaps when she's sort of winding it around her wrist. So she's a bit worried. And as Gav mentioned earlier, a screw from the air conditioning falls down and lands on the beam, stuck up in the air. Now
we keep getting this macro lens look at it
on a drawing pin or a thumbtack.
But it's like a horse. There's only some places you can walk. At some point, the steps and the camera angles just looking at it in the foreground. In the background, we get coming closer, just these steps and feet. I'm like, no, No.
Now, bear in mind, Peter, her boyfriend, has gone to watch and support her here. So he's watching her, go on, you can do it, Candice. So she's doing loads of great stuff, flips and slips and somersaults. And her foot is always inches away from this screw. She never quite stands on it. So we've got to build up.
Great tension.
Great tension, great build up. Now it's time for her to go.
It comes off it and she's fine. She misses it. Yeah.
Right, get on the bars on the one higher, one lower bar. I don't really know what they're called. Okay, she does all that. She gets starts to do the flips and flops.
So we're expecting any second.
And another girl gets on that beam.
Yeah.
She does a bunch of somersaults. Her foot lands right on the screw. She screams, falls off, knocks the chalk over. A big cloud of that goes up in the air.
Yeah.
Flips into Candice while she's in midair doing a somersault.
Yeah.
And she literally lands like a sack of shit on the floor.
Crushes to bits. Her spine just sort of...
You see her spine sticking out of her back and her knees and her bones sticking out of her shoulders.
Like, this movie, apart from a stupid detective asking silly questions, it's fucking off the chain, this one so far. Sarah gives this a 9. I give
this a 9.
I gave it a 7.
9.
But it's up straight away, this movie, you're like, this is up there. It's beaten 4. No worries.
Because it's so painful looking, but also so sudden as well.
And the tension, it's not sudden, that tension to build up to that pin.
And it's a bit ridiculous that all of her bones would be sticking out of her body like that. But also, this is a Final Destination movie, so fuck it. Peter's upset. Of course he is. He's just witnessed his girlfriend have every bone in her body poke out of her skin. So he's upset. And
no more poking for him too.
No more. I mean, depends. We're in the office. Now, I've just realised, Gav...
What a cheap cunt here. Going around stealing shit out of the dead people's drawers.
Hang on. Sam and Molly. They're the couple in this. We covered another film with Sam and Molly. Ghost.
Oh, so they're doing
Patrick Swayze, Sam, and so I've realised maybe that it's a bit of an homage to Ghost in some way. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, Sam and Molly are there, and
weird, but yeah.
They're clearing out their desks, obviously, and Olivia comes in. She says, "Oh my God, we've all got a bereavement payout in our paychecks. It's pretty good." And I guess the company would give you like a big payout, like that. So they're pretty pleased about that. Did you see about Candice? Yeah, I did. Oh well, yeah, but she got crushed to bits doing a somersault. Oh, it's a bit weird, isn't it? And then we see Isaac, the pervert, turn up, the one who everyone thinks was dead anyway, and he's going around from desk to desk, isn't he?
Stealing anything.
Stealing some loose change, some sweets.
Well, he finds a voucher for massage parlour and he thinks it's a rub and tug, doesn't he?
Yeah, he thinks he's going to get a little reach around hand job from lady. But so he puts that in his pocket. He's just being a perv as usual. We'll come back to him in a minute. Nathan shows up with some beers and says, "Come on, guys, let's have a proper toast to our dead colleague." So yeah, good old Nathan. That's cool. Let's go to the massage parlour then, Gav.
Yeah, goes to the massage parlour, walks in there straight away. He's just like to the young lady that at the desk starts saying, "Oh, I'm here for this." It's he's sort of trying to say basically.
He basically
wake me off.
Yeah, and he's so slightly racist. It says at one point, "Yum yum dim sum" to one of the girls. It's like, wow.
So she says, "Oh, okay." She figures him out straight away because she sees it all the time, I'm sure.
Henry Swanson's the name, and excitement's my game.
Exactly. So she takes him in the back, and he's like, "Brilliant! This is gonna be wicked." She's like, "To get your clothes off, lay down, etc." Thinking she's coming back to give him,
because it is a very hot Asian girl that he's got in the room with him, we should say. Yeah. So he shuts his eyes, and when he opens them, it's a very old Asian lady. And he's like, whoa, you aren't the lady that I just... Because he thought he was going to get, a real good time. Now, in this room, there's some incense sticks burning. There's a statue of a Buddha on a shelf that's very wobbly, Gav, isn't it?
By the way, just going back to the gymnasium, just to finish that off very, very, very quickly, we had a detective turned up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he can't figure it out. Like, fuck off, you dickhead.
The guy says to him, the crime scene guy says... I cannot tell you for the life of me what happened here. I don't know how this happened. It's just a literal freak accident. I just can't tell you how it happened. And he's like, maybe it's still a terrorist act.
Maybe it's the premonition terrorist again.
How's he done it?
It's so frustrating that it's such a shit way of bringing him in. It's awful.
So, yeah, back to Isaac. This lady is very rough with him. She's bending him up, bending him left and right. Nothing sexual, but she's doing all the cracking bones and all the. And I actually look like I'd like that. I'd like the old lady to have a go at me. To be honest, I need it.
I wouldn't mind trying a bit of acupuncture. I just want to try it out. Actually, get stabbed up.
Well, we'll come back to that in a minute because Olivia quickly we get cut to Olivia who drops a photo and sees something. Oh, the photo's got a smash over my eye. That's weird. A crack on my eye. Anyway, cut back to Isaac, and he starts having some acupuncture. Lots and lots of acupuncture needles in his forehead, in his chest. I've never had acupuncture. I don't think I ever want to be honest.
I reckon it'd be all
right. The lady says to him, "You go to sleep. I'll be back in 30 minutes." Because she can't speak English. She's been winding him up. So she does that. Now, Dennis, the boss, meanwhile, he's witnessed some tension between the people that are survivors. So he calls up Agent Block. He says, "You told me to let you know if there was anything suspicious. Well, I've just seen them screaming about death and shouting about different things." And he's like, "All right, thanks for that. Keep me posted if anything else weird happens." It's very strange. Cut back to Isaac, Pincushion.
Yeah.
While he's led there, his phone vibrates, which knocks a candle off. There's a bit of a fire. He falls off the bed, face down onto about 30 acupuncture needles.
The thing is, the fire breaks up. He could just turn and stand up and just walk out of the room. I don't know why he can't just get up. There's no reason why he can't stand up. But he does fall. He does fall with a face full of pins.
He pulls one of them out, and it's so deep
in his chest. It's really,
and it's curved, it's bent and twisted.
It's a good inch and a half long.
I'm not a fan of needles, so this was awful for me. And then some cleaning alcohol spills all over the floor as well.
Last Friday, I gave blood with a needle, then I went and got tattooed. So a double needle day for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a load of tattoos, and I've not ever given blood, but I've had loads of blood taken.
It was. I wasn't giving blood, as in that I had to have some tests.
I just don't look. I always say to them.
It didn't bother me, actually. I didn't even notice.
I always say to them, I'm not very good with needles, despite what you see on my arms.
I don't pay attention.
But I say to them, if you see me looking a bit grey, because I've almost passed out from having blood taken, and even when I've had like a cannula put in my arm at the hospital and stuff, that's the bit that makes me feel like you can take as many tumours out of my neck as you want. I've had all that done, but it's the catheter, not the catheter, fucking hell, the cannula in my hand I don't like because it fucking hurts.
Oh, yeah.
They can never find my veins, and I'm feeling a bit faint talking about it. Anyway, well, we don't see this one coming, but basically there's a fire, there's needles in him, and then all of a sudden a big Buddha falls off a shelf.
That's karma.
And fucking splats his head open. 7 out of 10.
Sarah 7, me 6.
Because you don't see it coming. You don't think it's going to be the Buddha.
Nah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
And the needles. It's the needles.
It's fine. It's kind of like your tanning salon. It's fine. It's the same setup. Tony Todd said, collect the body.
Yes, he says, the best line. He says, I've seen this before. And they're like, what do you mean? And he tells them, death's design. If you interrupt it, it will find a way. Da 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 da. And they're like, okay. They start sort of, understanding that there's an order and a design. And then they say to him, well, this doesn't seem fair. And he says, my favorite line, he says, hey, I don't make the rules. I just clean up when the game's over. And he just walks away, and you're like, yes, mic drop, Tony Todd. So yeah, they've all heard about Isaac.
Eye laser clinic.
Oh my God!
Now I wear glasses. I tell you,
my sister used to be a laser eye technician for about 7 or 8 years.
Really?
By the way, yes.
I tried to get contact lenses years ago. My eyes just would not let it happen. It just so even just putting a clamp in the eye is absolutely horrible to myself. I hate it. Couldn't do it.
This is a horrible one
to have that done.
So poor Olivia, who wears glasses, she's decided, she goes there and she says, I just want things in my life to be a bit clearer. She's had a couple of near misses. she wants laser eye surgery so she doesn't have to worry about glasses. And that's great, and that's fine. Go for it. She looks great in her glasses, I think. But whatever. She dumps them in the little pot, and the guy says, "Come inside." And she's like, "What are the teddy bears for?" And he's like,
I didn't like that when she just dropped them in the pot. Wait till you get it done. Like, what if you go in there and say, "Oh, sorry, we're going to have to do another day"? She's then going to be there fishing around trying to find her glasses.
Well, she grabs a teddy bear because he says they're for our younger patients, but some of our older ones let them too. So she's very nervous and she's squeezing this teddy bear so hard that his bloody eye pops out.
You'd probably go with a friend to something like that. You need to get back again. You're not going to be able to see anything, are you?
Well, you can't get home. This is what my sister... When my sister used to do this as a living, she used to say the amount of people that didn't realise you can't see for a few hours after you get it done.
What are you supposed to do? Just like wander around going, oh.
They're like, I didn't bring anyone with me. Well, how the fuck are you going to get home? You can't see for about 3 hours.
People are stupid.
Anyway, she lies on the bed thing and he says, right, I've clamped your head and you cannot move your head now. She's like, no, I can't. Now, what's horrible here is, so let's build up this picture. She can't move her head. Then next to her, there's a screen that she can see with a giant close-up of her eye, your own eyeball on this big screen. Then he says, I'm going to put these drops in your eye now, and they're going to numb your eyeball, and things will go a bit blurry. But don't worry, that's all part of the process. And he says, oh, for goodness sake, Douglas has given me an incomplete file. I'm just going to leave you on your own, lying on this table.
Get it right, Douglas.
And he leaves her alone. Now, while he leaves her alone, a little bit of water drips onto a plug, usual thing, sparks. The machine starts heating up.
It so the just builds up to a fucking laser going off in her eye, which is horrible.
It might as well be a lightsaber right next to your eyeball.
Oh, my God.
And like I said, she's got a close-up of her eye on the screen.
Oh, and it's just burning into her eye.
The effects are fantastic here because the effects of the laser burning her eyeball to start with are good. Then she manages to put her hand up and it burns across her hand, and that looks great as well.
Oh, so horrible.
She manages to pull her head off of the clamp just as Sam and Molly run in, and she's got one eye at this point, just like the photo she saw earlier, which she smashed. And she then, you think, oh, God, the poor girl. And then she slips on the eyeball from the teddy bear, straight out the window, down into a car, which pops her eye out. Her eye rolls towards the screen, and then a car runs over it twice.
What is that saying about laser surgery? Did the writer or director have a bad problem with eye laser surgery?
9 out of 10 for me.
Me and Sarah both give it a 6.
Trauma. Eye trauma.
Yeah, there is eye trauma. I think I might give it a higher because eye trauma. I give it a 7 because the eye trauma.
But also it doesn't stop. You know, it goes from the laser in the eye to the laser in the hand to the slipping out the window to the trapping on the car to the squashed eyeball. It's just constant.
Now we do cut to the detective who actually at this point does go, well, I think you know something, but I know you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well done. Slow clap for you.
Well done. They say to him, well, look, we weren't supposed to survive, and death is trying to set things right. And he looks at them like, okay, that's not exactly what I was expecting when I just said to you what I think I know. At the same
time, what else are you going to say? Like, they're just dying. Everyone's just dying. And what am I supposed to say?
Sam keeps replaying the bridge incident in his head and tries to remember the order, and he realises that Nathan is next. Nathan is back at the factory, ordering the factory workers around, and he says, I want to talk to Roy.
Oh, yeah.
And Roy comes up to talk to him, and he says, listen, you've been doing too much overtime. And Roy's like, listen, Sonny, Jim, I got a mortgage to pay. And they start having a bit of an argument, and then a crane hook sort of just out of nowhere just comes down,
and he pushes
Roy underneath it.
Well, he tries to stop it. He doesn't try and kill him, but he ends up, this poor guy, this steel worker who's been working hard, gets killed. What's
great is it
should be the other guy.
It breaks a hole in the floor.
It's just a random person's been
killed, which Roy falls through, and then he lands on the hook.
Yeah.
Underneath his chin.
This isn't a line of death, is it? No, it's just a random person. Is this the first time we have like this?
I think it might be the first
it's a civilian.
Yeah. 8 out of 10. Unexpected, great little hook under the chin.
Because the no build up whatsoever. Sarah gave it a 4.5 and I gave it a 4.
Oh, okay. I liked it.
Thing is, when it happens, Sarah and I then have a quick, well, what do you think? And yeah, so sometimes our scores can be quite the same because we have the kind of back and forth of discussing it, you know, a little.
Well, Dennis arrives, the boss, just after this incident, and he's like, who's died now? What on earth's going on? And just as he gets there, because this guy's died, and they sort of say to Nathan, did you do it on purpose to skip your go at dying? And he's like, well, I didn't mean to, but I guess I kind of did. And they're like, well, who does that mean? Who's next? Dennis walks in. Dennis is the next one. Yep. He walks in, starts shouting about them, and then a spanner falls down, flies off onto a gear, which shoots forward and basically slices his head in half. 6 out of 10 I gave it. CGI looked a bit shit, and it was all right, but it's 6.
Weirdly, no score from Sarah and I. I must have just missed it somehow.
It's very quick after that last one.
Yeah.
So they realise, you know, there is a way that you can skip a go if you kill another person, which Peter thinks, oh, maybe I'll go out and kill someone.
What a dickhead. How do you think that that's how the line works? Oh, okay. Well, if I just intercept and I just go and shoot someone and kill someone else, that's surely how it's going to stop me. No, death's coming for you. What a twat.
Well, Sam's back in the kitchen, doing his job, and there's danger everywhere, including a meat grinder which jams, a bit of a red herring, because nothing happens. He cleans up the kitchen, closes it, and he says to the head chef, look, is it still all right for me to cook a meal for my girlfriend tonight in the restaurant? He's like, of course, just make sure you clean it. And he says,
all goes weird, though. Yeah, okay.
It does. The ending is messy.
It's convoluted.
He says, I want to accept that apprenticeship in Paris. And he says, good, you're the best chef I know.
It's all right, but we're kind of getting away from what we're here for. We're kind of going into something now. It's like, what? This is too late for this.
So they have a candlelit dinner, but Peter shows up, very shaken up.
And he says, can you open up the door? I need to talk to you.
He says, I'm next, aren't I?
And this is that dickhead that thinks that if he kills someone else, it's going to not affect him.
Well, he tells them, all day long I've been trying to kill other people, strangers, push people in front of cars.
But I couldn't do it.
I just can't do it. But I've got this gun, Molly, and I'm going to kill you because I lost my girl, so I'm going to kill you.
So he's just going to go there. There's probably CCTV footage for a start, cameras for a start in the restaurant. What is this plan? It's really, this is why it's now like at some point goes real weak here. I don't know why.
It goes to a thriller. It turns into a thriller.
Totally turns into a thriller, and it's like this is a different film all of a sudden. Like, did they run out of money? Is this a quick rush thing you had to do and just film something inside a kitchen? Like, what's going on?
Agent Block shows up. He hears a shot fired. He says he calls for backup. There's a fight now.
The detective shot.
Peter knocks out Sam, tries to find Molly in the dark restaurant. He kills Agent Block.
It's now an action movie. And it's like, where's this Tom come from?
He killed the detective. Then he says, well, Molly, you've seen me kill a cop, so now I've got to kill you too.
It's just, there's too many questions to throw this in here. So this, unfortunately, is making the movie go downhill.
Sam jumps him, a gun lands on the grill and starts heating up while they fight. Peter grabs a knife, chases Molly, and then Sam ends up kebabbing Peter with this huge spiky thing. 2 out of 10. Really weak kill.
Me and Sarah didn't score it because it was awful. Funny enough, I'm more interested in the fact that I had a kebab last week, and it's fucking amazing.
Excellent. Well, the gun goes off because it's been heating up, but no one gets hurt because they're safe.
Loads of chilies. It's great.
And cut to what makes this film great again, the final scene.
See, this is now good. So whatever happened just a moment ago, they needed to rewrite that and do something better with that. Like, why didn't they just kill that guy?
Yeah.
And just have him as a death, and then
I didn't want. Why did they have to kill off Agent Block? I don't know. As much as you had problems with him, he didn't need to die.
He actually didn't even need to come back in it. To be honest with you, I'd forgotten about him. That's fine.
But wow, the ending scene. So they're on a plane. We don't see this coming.
No,
so we see this film.
So they do pull it back by this, but they did.
And he says, "Are you excited for Paris? I'm excited for Paris. That's good." And then they look round, and they see the cast of the first movie.
Very clever.
So it's a shot from the first movie done to look like it's happening, and they're being kicked off because one of the boys, Alex, is, oh my God, this plane's going to crash. And I'm like, why is that kid getting taken off? Oh, I don't know. Turbulence happens, and then the plane catches fire.
Yeah,
it's great
the whole thing happens from the first. It's really good.
Molly gets sucked out. He catches fire. And then we forgot all about Nathan, who survived, because he's at Roy's memorial in the bar. And Nathan's like, oh, man, I'm really like, of course I was going to come and see it. And they're like, he was going to die anyway. What do you mean? Roy had a brain tumor. He was about a week away from dying. So he would have died anyway. It's probably a good thing that he died. And then the plane debris comes straight through the
engine.
Crushes Nathan.
That was a Donnie Darko.
I love it, and that's an 8 out of 10 for me because that was quite funny.
It's the whole thing as well, isn't it?
But I give Nathan's death an 8 out of 10.
I think we did the sort of whole thing with that. So Sarah gave it a 9, and I was 7.5.
And then the end credits show
it's a
all
montage
the deaths from all the films. Like this is the final film, but it's not because there is a 6 coming out.
Yeah, and they can carry on making these. I don't know why they hadn't already. But
definitely a thumbs up for that one for me to give, to tell people to watch that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, this is a great franchise. Somebody online, Keith, one of our listeners and followers and supporters, said this is much better than the Saw franchise, and I agree. There are many more Saw movies.
A lot of Saw movies.
But this franchise is fun. It's got rules that it follows every episode.
In comparison, this does the same as what Saw films do. You go there for the deaths. But I don't like that torture shit. That's bullshit. That's like people put in situations. This is like every day where people could relate to more.
Yeah, it's a fun concept, and it's got great rules that we like,
And humans have a fascination with death. So, yeah.
So that's Final Destination 3 from 5. Now, Gav, I asked you a couple of days ago to think about your least favourite to your favourite of the Final Destination films. So I'm going to start with my least favourite, which will probably be the same as yours. My least favourite is The Final Destination, Part 4.
Yes.
I assume that's the same for you.
Yeah.
Okay. My next is a joint place. 3 and 5 are exactly the same. I like them both equally. They're good. What about you?
Yeah. Just after reviewing Part 5, then how much better that was. Possibly because I've got 5 here next. Actually,
I would say that 3 is slightly better than 5.
Yeah, I've got 3 at my number 2, funny enough.
Ooh. Well, my number 2 is number 1. The first one is my second favourite. Because it's dark and it's the one that started it all.
Okay, I think we're confusing everybody. So I'm mine's 4th, then the 5th, then the 2nd, then the 3rd, and then the 1st.
Wow. Okay, my favourite is number 2.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very different.
I don't know. After reviewing 3 of you again, I do like 2 quite a lot. So I don't know. 5, 2, and 3 are all fairly. They've got different things.
Number 1 is more of a dark horror.
1's the originator. I like it.
2, 3, and 5 are fun.
Yeah.
4 is just a misstep.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to talk about the opening disasters. My favourite of the opening disasters is still number 2, the road pile-up.
Yeah,
that's still my favourite.
It's going to be that or the bridge scene.
The bridge is my second favourite.
I'm going with you. I'd say that. I'd go road, then bridge, then airplane.
Well, roller coaster for me. Then aeroplane,
and then the car derby last.
Yeah, that's last for me.
CGI. They're being cheap at that point.
Now, before we wrap up, there is a Final Destination 6 in the works. It's currently being produced. It's coming out in August next year, August 2025.
I will be at the cinema to watch it. I'll support it.
It's called Final Destination Bloodlines.
Who's making that and who's directing it?
Tony Todd is in it. It is directed by 2 people, Adam Stein and Zach Lebowski.
Never heard of them.
It's got a cast list already on there, no one you would have heard of, and it says...
Yeah, don't need to.
a little bit about it. It says the film is about an 18-year-old whose grandmother narrowly escaped death in the 60s, but death continues to pursue them throughout their descendants. So it's going to be a
family
historical
line.
Yeah, it's going to be like a historical, I think.
Right. So it's like Hereditary.
It's like when Jules goes after the family.
Not the movie. I mean, is in Hereditary, like. You know.
It's like when the shark just decides I'm going to go for that family.
Like when the family go that Christmas holiday to Alan, get off your knickers, Alan.
Apparently, it's going to centre mainly around ambulance, firemen, and police. So this family are going to have a lot of people in the services like that.
That's a weird one, then.
Yeah, but I think what's going to be interesting is seeing.
I don't know if I'm into that.
It'll be even more of a prequel than Part 5.
Yeah, it will be, but I don't know if I'm into the whole Hereditary family bloodline. That's a really weird way to go. Ooh, okay.
But
wait
August,
and see.
August 2025, that's scheduled to come
check
out.
out a trailer. But anyway, everybody, if you've never seen these films, get your fucking ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars. No, do watch them.
Ass to Mars, yeah.
It's one of the great.
Or just fun to watch.
It's one of the great newer franchises. Saw is a good franchise for some people, not for me.
Not for me.
But for me, my favourite two franchises out of the new batch of stuff. I don't like the Insidious franchise. I don't like the bloody Conjuring franchise.
A lot of the Blumhouse stuff, yeah.
But Scream and Final Destination are my two favourite from the 90s up. I can't think of another, other than The Purge, which I don't really like those ones either.
I've still not seen that Scream 5, and I'm not going to probably.
6.
6, then. No, what's the last one that came out?
6.
Yeah, I haven't seen 6.
Have you not? Bloody hell, I haven't seen either.
I'm not going to bother.
Oh, bloody hell, I'm
no interest. It's different location, whole different things. Like, it's not
You'll watch
what
it
I
at
like
some
the film
point.
for. I'm not going to bother. Yes. Okay. Good movies. Check them out.
Yeah, definitely.
Let us know what you think. Let us know
4
what's your best
is the only one you could skip.
Let us know what your best kills are. Please share it on the old group page, because then everyone could join in.
And it's one of those films, like Jules did for Walter. Some films have done for other things, like Psycho in the Shower.
This is done for death.
It's made you think about log lorries on the road.
Do you think it's made health
roller
and safety?
coasters.
Is this why there's so much red tape in health and safety nowadays?
I doubt very much it's made anybody at a NASCAR racing event worry, but it's probably made people with a log lorry in front of them. Even if I get on a flight, if my flight was ever 180, I'd be like, fuck this, I ain't getting on this one.
Absolutely. Right, let's get out of here, and we're going to be back real soon. And we're back again. And we're front again.
Welcome, front. Welcome back. And welcome to the side.
Welcome all over.
We are done with Final Destination until the 6th one comes out, and we inevitably review that. But we've wrapped up that franchise. It was fun. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, really fun. Do it just for the kills. Watch them.
Yeah, it's a great one.
What is part 4?
Well, what is coming up next? Gav?
Yeah,
well,
I always forget what's up.
Next episode is...
What's up, Doc?
Well, we are getting ready for the Halloween season. So our next episode is just going to warm things up a little bit with a director special. The classic Terence Fisher is
that next, is it?
That is our next episode. We have picked a Terence Fisher film each. So it's going to be, you've picked 1959's Hound of the Baskervilles.
Yeah.
And I've picked 61's Curse of the Werewolf.
I'll tell you what, since I fucking packed my movies away, which was probably only about 6 weeks ago, I literally packed all my movie collection away, put them in my parents' loft, because I was like, I don't know where I'm going yet, I don't know where I'm living, so I need to put them somewhere to make it easier to move. Since I've done that, the amount of times I've had to fucking rent movies out and shit, it's done my fucking nothing. I've got this on Blu-ray somewhere in a box. And,
two
and Hammer of
hammers
the
for us.
Baskervilles. I feel like I have that on Blu-ray somewhere. For fuck's sake.
2 Hammer horrors for Terence Fisher. So that'll be a great episode. And then after that, it's going to be a patron.
Curse of the Werewolf is on Legend at the moment on their not the pay-per-view, on their, streaming service. Yeah.
So 165 is a patron pick, and that's Holly. Holly. She selected 2 Irish comedy horrors for us. 2019's Extraordinary, which is great, and one that neither of us have seen, which is The Boys from County Hell, 2020, based on a real Irish vampire legend, which I'm very excited about.
That's good, because then that helps us do World of Strange as well.
It does indeed. And then that means that our episode after that will be our Halloween special. Ooh. And as is tradition for the last few years, we are going to be doing a franchise face-off between Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers.
With the fucking cowboy that turns up. We're going to rip the piss out of this film.
From 1989.
Shit.
And also from 1989, which is weird because this franchise, when we first started doing this face-off, every sequel gets the same year. Also from 1989, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Okay, I'm not feeling too positive about both these films, but that's our Halloween special.
Revenge of Michael Myers and The Dream Child. Wow.
I'd like to say programming will be normal, everybody, but I am moving as well, so I've got to take that into account. So setting up places and things to do stuff, and finding time to watch the movies to do them. But hopefully it's all fine.
Yeah, we still aim to try and drop 2 a month, but
sometimes things happen.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, hopefully that will be our Halloween special towards the end of October, that 166 with Michael versus Jason. So yeah, exciting stuff. And yeah, I'm very excited about Halloween. And my kids are already on the way home from nursery talking about, the leaves are turning yellow and orange and brown, and they're sort of saying that means it's Halloween soon. And my son keeps saying, I will be a zombie and you will be a skeleton. He's just naming things he thinks we should dress up as, which is great.
I think I'm making, and it's got to drop before Halloween, so I know it's here, a Freddy Krueger music video. Not like it's just a friend who wants a music video, but he wants someone dressed as Freddy Krueger in it.
Okay.
But he's getting a legit costume posted over to me because he's in a different country, and I've got to film that. But that means, though, I've got a Freddy costume spare, doesn't it? So guess what? For Halloween, I might be Freddy Krueger.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to go as Funny Bones, because obviously our surname is Bone, and we can just all wear skeleton costumes, and the 4 of us can just be Funny Bones. But this will be the first year I take them trick-or-treating, because they're 3 now.
It's fun. Oh, excuse me. It's fun.
Well, I'm going to...
I know you won't, but it is.
I'm going to prime 7 or 8 neighbours and just say to them, just be prepared for 2 3-year-olds to knock on your door. Not on their own, obviously. I'm not going to send them out on the streets on their own. Fucking hell. But I'll just knock on the door and say, just say trick-or-treat.
I told you what happened when I went with my friend. I won't say his name, even though he doesn't listen.
He put his dick through someone's letterbox.
No, I went with him it's only like 2 or 3 years. No, it's probably about 3 years ago. I went, do you fancy my kids, your kid, get together trick-or-treat? So I went round and went out, and my kids walked up to the door, his kid walked up to the door, then because he had a bucket as well, and I was like, what's going on here? Then he had a little plastic mask, put it on, and he walked up to the door as well.
What?
And I was a bit like, what's going on? And I'm standing there as an adult at the end, watching my children go to the door, as you do, and then the man went, okay, looked up at him because he's massive, and here's one for you as well. And they walked off. Probably thought he was autistic or something. When he came out and he went to do it again at the next one, whoa, what are you doing? Oh, good chocolates. No, the kids do that. As adults, we stand here and watch the kids do that. What are you doing? And he was
taking some other kids' chocolate.
He thought it was just like for everybody. Like, what's going on? So I had to say to him, what the fuck are you doing?
That's weird.
It was really weird. It was really, really weird.
Well,
Got confused.
That's what's coming up next.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah, so the next 3 episodes will be fun. Terence Fisher, Holly's Patreon episode, and our Halloween special. But it's time for us to go. So I will do some housekeeping, and then we will say our goodbyes.
Housekeeping.
So we are and have been the podcast on Haunted Hill, have been doing that for 10 years now.
Yep.
We fall under the Deadbolt Media umbrella, and we are a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network. Go to legionpodcast.com to find out more about that, the network, and all the shows that appear on there, including all of the back catalogues for us and the other shows. You can email us at the podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com if you've got questions, queries, and you want information on anything. We're on Facebook under the podcast on Haunted Hill. Just go search for that. There's a community of about 600 freaks. You're all freaks, but we love you all. And we've been chatting for 10 years, so some really good relationships built up on there. And I tell you guys, that Facebook page is going to be buzzing in October because I love it. When everyone starts watching their 31 films, it's going to be brilliant. Legion have their own Facebook page as well. Just go to Legion Podcasts on Facebook. You can find us wherever you're listening to us right now, but we are on Spotify, YouTube, Podnight, Podbean, Apple Podcast Addict, and all the other places you can find your usual podcasts. And we're on Instagram, the podcast on Haunted Hill Insta. Deadbolt Media is our umbrella. Deadbolt Films is our production company. Just go to deadboltfilms.com to find out more about the comics. Other podcasts that we do. Gav, your other podcast that you do with Sarah is called
The High Strangeness Podcast, where we talk about weird, strange things.
Links are on there on deadboltfilms.com, as well as links to trailers and short films and feature films we've done and things that might be upcoming. And there's an Instagram handle for Deadbolt Films, or one word, Deadbolt Films.
I think what we've got lined up coming up, a few conventions. I know there's some comic conventions coming up where we are having tables at, because we do quite a lot of the comics now. There's quite a lot of them going on.
Yeah, it's very good.
And I think Ben's doing sign-ins at them because he's the artist. So, yeah,
it's amazing. And we are also part of Patreon. So we have Patreon supporters. We'll talk more about them in just a second. But if you want to support the show in a monetary fashion for as little as £1 or $1 a month, you can become a Patreon supporter. Just go to Patreon, search for the podcast on Haunted Hill, or email me on the podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com, or you can Facebook message me, whichever it is you want to do. Yeah. And I will direct you there if you can't find it. But you don't have to do it. We would be doing this without any patron support, but the fact we have patron supporters is fantastic. That money helps us to rent and buy films or equipment. Yep. Just generally keep the show ticking along nicely.
Yes.
And if you become a patron supporter, you get a t-shirt in one of 3 colours sent out to you wherever you may live in the known solar system. You also get exclusive access to our entire back catalogue through Patreon. We release old episodes every Friday on there for people to catch up on, and you get any sort of bonus content that we put on there occasionally, and you also get to choose 2 films for us to watch.
Yeah.
So patron pick. So
and
thank
we
you to all our
appreciate
patrons.
So
yes,
much. Yeah,
we do.
amazing.
We really
Thank you.
do.
Yeah.
Holly is our next patron up in 2 episodes' time, so she's the next one to be wearing the crown, and we'll go through everybody in order as we did last time. So thanking all of our patrons by name, thank you ever so much to Dante, Don Collier, Matthew Godley, Jamie Jenkins, Kevin S5, Sarah Kay, Rachel, RJ McCready, and Lex Boo. Thank you so much, guys. We love you all very much and really appreciate what you do. We also love everybody else that listens to, shares, likes, and generally supports the show.
Dan's sending out nude photographs of himself now to all patrons.
You do not want that. I promise you do not want that. But yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gav. I'm really excited for Halloween time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. That's it, everyone. Listen, if Tony Todd is walking down your road, you're fucked. All right?
Yeah.
Just watch out.
And, shut the doors and windows and look under the bed for death.
Yeah. And remember, even if there's
anywhere.
Paper clips. Before we go, let me throw a scenario at you and you come up with how you would die with it. Cleaning the bathroom.
And a mouse.
What?
There's just a mouse there.
Okay, go on then. How would you die in that?
Fall over, mouse goes in your mouth.
Wow.
I don't know.
Throw one at me.
Train station, porter cabin for a workman.
Okay, I've gone in there, I've done it, and I've got the old jackass treatment. They've picked it up.
And they've put it on train tracks.
And
for a laugh.
I drown in shit. The shit tips out of it, and I drown in shit.
Yeah.
That's your final destination right there.
There you go.
There we go, guys. Well, it's a good night for Tony Todd.
It's a good night from a man's bottom hole through a swimming pool.
And it's a good night from fucking Mortal Kombat style CGI graphics and really bad acting.
It is. It is. And it's a good night from an inept, ridiculous detective.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.